Sometimes if I can control myself. So I guess that's the most like human part of this. He's a man of the working class. Look at him eat that McDonald's. He munches on that burger. Yeah, always. He hired someone to eat the McDonald's trash. Jeff eating the burger like something about this tastes off. Where's the human meat? Yeah. Somebody else ate it. He just stepped in for the photo. No, dude. What the fuck do you mean? Everybody likes McDonald's. It's not like a thing. Like there's no like level of fucking wealth that you arrive at where you're like, oh, I'm not gonna have McDonald's. Like you're ridiculous. It's like top 40 music, okay? It is scientifically concocted to make people taste it with their tongue and go, yummy, yum, yum, in my tummy, okay? There's no shame in admitting that. It's literally chemically created by scientists to be appealing. Except for Burger King, which is disgusting and no one should eat it. And oh my God, I cannot comprehend why people eat it. McDonald's tastes ugly hot. Fair. Not gonna lie, McDonald's makes me sick. Like I physically can't eat it. Even as a baby, my parents told me stories about how I ate McDonald's. I would actually throw up in the car. That's weird. If I was rich, you could not pay me to eat McDonald's. Like every now and then, it's like, you know, you probably are like, yeah, let me remind myself what McDonald's used to taste like. Apparently BK is good in other countries, but y'all are wild. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think Burger King is nasty. Your hatred for BK proves you hold disdain for the working class. Motherfucker, when McDonald's used to have $5 two Big Macs, like back in the day, when I was a brokey, I would literally eat 2 Big Macs. I would take the fucking bread out and make like a super Big Mac and eat that. Really surprisingly decent macronutrient breakdown if you just have a Big Mac. It's better than you would think. I'm not like LARPing. I'm not like, you know, saying McDonald's is good or anything. But considering how, you know, fat we are as Americans and how much we like point the finger at blaming McDonald's for that reality because it's kind of like the face of like, you know, the AmeriFat movement. You would be surprised with the macronutrient breakdown of a Big Mac. I think it's like 560 calories or something. Obviously, it's just like loaded with the worst kind of chemicals and shit. And so sodium dense. But yeah, the worst part about the McDonald's food is probably the fries, even though they're delicious. Like I'm saying, the worst L you're taking when you eat at McDonald's is from the fries, possibly the sauces if you're dipping it in some shit, you know what I mean? And also on top of that, the soda, if you're getting like not a diet, but a real, like a regular sugar soda, that shit will that really puts a lot of calories onto your meal. The fries are an entire meal's worth of calories, yeah. French fries, unfortunately, are so fucking bad for you, even though they're so delicious. It's just fat and carbs, but god damn, it tastes fucking dank. So good. Anyway, I'm not a big fry guy, though. Out of all of the... wait, are you balding? Yes, I'm balding. As you can see. Pretty hard. It's crazy. No hair whatsoever on the top of my head. Look at that. Devastating. It's really bad, guys. Potato is a whole food and can constitute a majority of your diet. You're starting to look like a top G. Yeah. All that McDonald's making you bald. My forehead is twice your size, and these children think you're balding. No, I don't think anyone thinks I'm fucking balding. The only person who says that, well, now everyone is going to say it and say copium because they're memeing. But people only say that because they think like, oh man, I'm going to get him with this. I'm going to fucking hurt his feelings with this one. This one's going to do numbers. Yeah, see, you are the most predictable motherfuckers, dude. You are the most. I own you. I own you. I own you. I know everything. I know everything that you're going to do literally before you do it. Trump's family dunks on DeSantis. You're stealing our bit. Donald Trump says the Florida governor is mirroring the former president right down to the hand gestures. Drama. It's true. I can't believe they're fucking literally saying that.
Anybody here would do.
Finally, they're fucking. Oh, dude, this is great. Okay, I love that. Okay. Anyway, this one banged. Good job, Hasan Daily, for this tweet that or your TikTok that blew up. We'll talk more about the Donald Trump thing. Americans sharing their top concerns with a new school year. I don't know if we should get to that first. I mean, there's still a lot of controversy and a lot of drama surrounding the student loan debt relief. People are malding pretty fucking hard. Nothing wrong with bald Hossie. Yeah. Oh, the monkeypox guy faked it to promote his music. I saw this as well. That one's pretty crazy.
Good job.
That shit's pretty wild too. Remember, Ethan showed this to me. Speaking of bald, did you talk about how Baldy did a I quit message? No. I did not. Bald and bankrupt is quitting? I doubt it. Or are you talking about Andrew Tate? Which Baldy are you talking about? I don't know. We're back. School districts in Missouri have adopted an opt-in policy this school year, allowing corporal punishment of students only in reasonable form and when all other alternative means of discipline have failed, by the way. So we're bringing back corporal punishment, beating kids. Respect to that. Respect to Missouri. That's pretty cool. Ben Shapiro's got some takes. I guess I don't know. There's a lot of like spicy Sydney Sweeney shit too that we kind of looked at a little bit, but not too extensively. I'm going to be honest with you. The only reason why I haven't I've been stalling is because I was thinking about an adequate way to fucking segue into the top of the hour ad break. And I just couldn't come up with one. I've lost my creativity. I've lost my creative juices. So I'm just going to serve it to you. At the top of the hour, there's a 6-second ad break. I'm literally like thinking. I'm concocting. I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And I could not find one. So yeah, at the top of the hour, there's a 6-second ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get one free Prime subscription a month. Transphobia Phobic, thank you for the what a name. Transphobia Phobic, thank you for the 15 gifted subs. Haas on Twitch, thank you for the 10 gifted subs, allowing 25 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. You can also, if you're lucky, get gifted a sub and not see it. But if you're not lucky, make your own luck. Twitch Prime is free. Hey, Lee, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. Okay. There's a new conspiracy theory on the Proud Boys leader Gavin McInnes, who might have gotten Alibaba founder Jack Ma'd by the American authorities, Dark Brandon. I believe he got swatted. I believe he got swatted on a live stream. Speaking of swatting, Ludwig got swatted on a live stream as well. I don't really like talking about this sort of stuff, so I'm not even going to cover it that much. But it's gross, it's disgusting, and of course, cops regularly make you feel like you're responsible for the swatting, even though they are the fucking dummies that ended up swatting you when they're the ones who got fucking owned by some random dickhead. I was on Ludwig's stream. The cops destroyed Lud's house. Yeah, I saw that. Here, I'll just show you that part. Actually, here, Marjorie Taylor Greene is getting swatted. Rule number 1 of getting swatted is you're not supposed to talk about it. Okay, I don't know. I mean, you're not supposed to talk about it, but then you talk about it. Mom had some bass tweets yesterday. I'm gonna show that. Yeah, I will show that. But they decided to talk about it, so I guess, like, this is pretty funny. I don't know what the fuck happened. I mean, it's pretty gross and pretty disgusting, but yeah, Ludwig and Aiden were in the house. No one else was, luckily. But they've been swatted before. And it's crazy that, like, okay, they checked the yard set, but one of the piggies stepped off and threw the insulation. Yeah, I saw. So here's the thing. I've been to their house. Okay? I've been to their fucking house. And the fact that, like, it's not easy to get to. So the cops, like, they go through, like, a gated community. Like, there are multiple layers that they have to go through. And usually when your house is swatted before, you are supposed to be in communication with the police force so that, when it happens the next time, because they always have to send a cop, when it happens the next time. Wait, what? Man, fuck you and your fucking fans? Wait, why? What? Okay. That's weird. When they do this, what they are supposed to do is literally give you a fucking call. But of course, depending on who is the watch commander at the time, or depending on how the cops are fucking feeling at the time, okay? Because depending on how the fucking cops are feeling at the time, they might just go gung-ho on it, okay? And he talks about that pre-watch. Motherfucker, I know this stuff, okay? What do you mean pre-watch? Every Twitch streamer knows how this shit works, okay? Ludwig made steps to make sure this doesn't happen, but the pigs are so fucking incompetent they turn up guns drawn anyway. Yes. So there are dispatchers in the comments in Lud's video why they explaining why they didn't call. Brother, it doesn't matter. Okay? If a fucking location, if the police force knows that the location is a fucking YouTuber, they hate it for 2 reasons. I'll tell you why, okay? When cops SWAT YouTubers, they hate it for 2 reasons. 1, because they love getting into action, okay? This is an opportunity to use their guns, you know what I mean? And get into action. Oftentimes, depending on the severity of the call, what the call is, what the call pertains, they will either send a first response unit or just straight up, depending on how severe the fucking call is and how realistic it sounds, an actual, like, SWAT team, right? And the second reason why they hate it, though, is because, like, they get their dicks loaded, they get their fucking cocks cocked and loaded, and then they blow their load, which fucking sucks for them. They want to get that action. They want to shoot some dogs. They get blue balled. You know what I mean? It's like They're jerking off, but not to completion. The second reason is because it is a big misuse of funds, right? The police are already defunded. And when this happens, when the cops are already defunded, they don't have a lot of funds. They're basically taking a fuckload of people, around at least 10, if not more cops, multiple cruisers, and multiple cops directly to your house to go and, to go and deal with something when they could be, I don't know, handing out tickets or whatever. So they don't like it. And it's also highly illegal because when you SWAT someone, you're trying to get them killed. Okay? And cops have killed people in fake swatting incidents before. And that is, and for that reason, it's like super, super, it is incredibly illegal. And they do put active investigations out there when someone is like a routine swatter. And people have gone to jail for swatting people or issuing bomb threats or even issuing death threats. So, be careful what you say on the internet, right? So, what is this? This popped off on Reddit. What is it? We'll do Cop Watch. I guess we'll start off with the Cop Watch right now, technically. This is technically a Cop
How's it going,
Watch.
boys? Originally, I wasn't going to make a video about this, but I figured since the information's already out there, I might as well just post something. At least that way I can make a couple bucks off a wasted Sunday afternoon. So this is the story of how I got swatted. All right, subscribe. See you later. Goodbye.
Okay, so here are a couple things where they fucked up. One, when they did the swatting, they actually went into the room where the camera is. Okay? You're not supposed to do that. The moment that you know this is a fucking YouTuber's house, okay, regardless of what the call is, don't ever go into the room. I wouldn't have even made this video if it were me, okay? If I was in this particular circumstance, I would not have made this video because of the way that swatting works, like the more you draw attention to it, the more it's going to happen. Marjorie Taylor Greene did this. Marjorie Taylor Greene got swatted the next night. Tim Pool did this. Tim Pool got swatted the next night. Okay? And kept getting swatted over and over and over again, because the reason why people do it is because they feel as though they can't get caught, and the perpetrators of the swatting want to see it happen. They want to see it happen. They want to disrupt the stream in this incredibly aggressive capacity, in this incredibly aggressive way. Okay? So that's the goal for them. Other streamers, Toast, Stans, etc., who were on the chess call quickly understood what was happening and diverted attention instead of talking about it. I know. I was playing Valorant with some of the streamers who are also friends with Ludwig, and immediately their chat was like, "Look, got swatted, look, got swatted." LSF even knows that swatting creates repeated behavior. LSF will literally delete swatting clips off of their subreddit. It is an understood phenomena with anyone and everyone that's on the internet. It is an understood phenomena that if you are getting swatted, you are not supposed to draw attention to it, which is why I'm surprised that Ludwig talked about it, which is why I was not covering, for example, what had happened to Keffels as well, friend of the show, who has been on an active conquest against Kiwi Farms, who gets off on doing this sort of thing, especially when they get mentioned. They love it. They love getting mentioned. They love doing it, and they will just never stop doing it. So now that like everyone is fucking talking about it, I'm offering coverage to it while also telling you why I don't talk about it usually and why people normally don't talk about it. Do you understand? A crazy idea. Maybe the reason it keeps happening is because people don't talk about it. No, that is actually a crazy idea. No, you're wrong. If you're talking about it today, maybe it'd be safe for you to see grass away from your $8 billion home tomorrow. What?
What's up, boys? Welcome back to Mogul Mail, or my channel, or whatever this is. If you missed the end of last stream or are not on twitter.com, then you might not know that the stream ended abruptly as I went upstairs to refill my water in between a chess tournament I was running. I was met with the gun of a police officer, which was weird because my front door was not meant to be open for police officers. And so I spent about, an hour away in a police car as they went through my house. And then the clips, they've mostly been a bit hushed down. I think Tim did a good job locking it down, but I think I was still live when the police were walking through. You guys probably saw that. You probably saw the police walking through the house because they sweep every single room when they do a swatting. As you can see,
a no-knock raid? Are you fucking kidding? Yes. When it's a fucking SWAT call, they will often say it's a hostage situation, or they'll say like someone has a gun, so that due process is out the window at that point, unless you effectively communicate with the cops like that. This is not happening. You're an idiot for coming here again. Even though you have communicated with them that, this is something that happens all the fucking time, and that they know that the proper protocol is when they are supposed to call you ahead of time to make sure that this is happening, and then still send a unit there.
I'm not too shaken up, maybe a little bit of adrenaline. Generally, I'm pretty fine. The initial part is kind of scary. But then it's quickly overwhelmed with a annoying feeling, a sense of annoyance.
Please address why this happened, because there are a lot of fucking weirdos on the internet who get off on this shit, and they do it to all the Twitch streamers. They do it to everyone. They do it to most fucking influencers on the internet, because influencers on the internet are accessible. Okay, that's why they do it, because they get off on it. They're bad. They're brain broken.
I'm just annoyed. Now, this isn't the first time we've been swatted. I talked on Mogul Mail before about how
and they go to jail, by the way. It's like super illegal.
And this is the first time it's happened in a while, though. And it was a little different than most times because it was only me and Aiden home. Everyone else was out doing shit. So it was a little bit different in that sense. I think it made things a little bit easier to deal with because only having 2 people is a lot easier than the police officers being like 5 people come through. To the motherfucker who swatted me, who's watching this, who wasted about 55 minutes of my day, congratulations.
He's just jerking off to this right now. You know what I mean? But I guess the cops are so dumb that they went into the fucking room with the cameras. So, you know what I mean? So he already knew that he got what he wanted.
55 minutes of my day down the drain. Here's the thing about you, though. You got 55 years ahead of you that you are poised to waste. 55 years that you are set up to just blow through doing absolutely nothing with your life. And hope you have a great Sunday. Recommendation, me to you, spin it around. You got a lot of years, all right? You spend 60, 70, 80 years on this earth on average. That's about it. You might as well, while you're here, do something effective with your time. Make an imprint. Be a positive impact. Change the lives of those around you. Now, if you get your rocks off on this, good job. All right? This will be the one thing you do, then you die, then that's it. Pee pee poof. Bye-bye. GG no re. It feels to me empty. Okay? I would shoot for more. But if that's what you want, is 55 minutes of my Sunday taken up, go for it. TikTok does the same thing, all right? To me, every single day, 55 minutes down the drain, it's not that big of a deal. But I do have to quickly talk about the ineptitude of the police departments in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Now, I've been swatted a few times. Every time they come, this is generally how it goes.
He's kind of mad, you can tell. Man, you are, wow, how astute. How brilliant of you. What an incredible observation. You mean to tell me that he doesn't like getting fucking arrested, handcuffed, and had a fuckload of guns pointed at him as a bunch of fucking steroid-addled, limp dick, psychopathic hogs rummage through his fucking house with their weapons drawn, allowing their fucking animals to escape and shit. Wow. You must be an empath, chatter. Congratulations, you fucking figured it out. It's not just a nuisance. It's a really shitty experience, I think. You fucking, damn, dude. You nailed it. Nailed it. That's great. You cracked the case. Good job.
They take it very seriously at first, all right? 8 squad cars, 2 fire trucks, 1 helicopter, going around. Because there's some made-up story that the person who swats will say. Some BS. There's like a, my name's like Adam, and I'm going to kill this person and then kill myself. Whatever. And then what happens, and I've realized where the ineptitude falls, is that there's a disconnect. Because every time it's happened to me before, they say, hey, give us a phone number, and we'll call you when it happens again. Because of that, I always have my phone on me while I stream, right here. I'm prepared for a phone call. The problem is they've never called. Every single time they've come, they've never called. And every time they come, I get a little more annoyed. I'm like, why didn't you call this time? Why didn't you call this time? Why didn't you call this time? And instead of being like, oh, you know what? Our bad, we should have called. They'll hit me with something like this. They hit me with this one time. I talked about this on Mogul Mail before. They hit me with this. They hit, maybe you should get a different job. And I'm like, that cannot be the solution.
How about they get a different job, dude? How about you fucking don't do what you're doing? I mean, honestly. Yeah, no. The wildest part about this experience is that, like, the wildest part about their experience, obviously not mine, I'm not speaking from experience here, is the underlying very weird reaction where cops are basically saying, like, you know, this is your fault somehow.
Certainly not. There has to be a middle ground between here and there, but I realize today where the disconnect lies. Now, the police department is a fabulously wealthy group, all right? The Los Angeles Police Department specifically has a lot of money in their ecosystem. But the division of labor leads for failures in communication. Specifically, when you call into the police, you call into an operator's line. And the operators are not a grounds crew. They don't do the dirty work. They don't go to stop things from happening and stop crime and kill innocent black men. That's not what they do. They just answer the phone, right? So when they answer the phone, they'll say, hey, we got a call. There's someone that's going to get murdered at this address. And then they tell the police, the grounds crew. And then the grounds crew, the policemen who actually go to addresses, they just do the thing they're told to do. And so annoyingly, I would love so very dearly to yell at who comes to my house and be like, you fucking dumbass, you've come multiple times. I've told you.
I don't know why he doesn't do that. To be fair.
My number, you know I'm a YouTuber. You can literally go to my stream and see a camera that displays what I'm doing. And what you'll find out is most times it's not murder.
He'd get shot. He has a nice house. If cops know one thing, stop saying doesn't want to get shot. Ludwig is very white, okay? And he lives in a very nice house. Cops know one thing. They're bootlickers to the rich, to the wealthy, especially to wealthy white people, okay? He's in a nice house and he's white. He should definitely yell at the cops. Because when you're in a nice house and you're white and you yell at the cops, their reaction changes. I mean, they'll still arrest you. They'll still handcuff you, right? But you know, they definitely if they feel a sense of entitlement coming out of you, they're trained to know, like, oh fuck, we fucked up. This is not a guy who we should have fucked with in this way. Yeah, hit him with the Karen shit. Obviously, don't do this if you're a person of color. Obviously, don't do this if you're not living in a very nice house that is like, you know, that shows your level of affluence. But this is the one area where, like, you can use your privilege in this regard. Because they are fucked up. They are fucking up. They're fucking up big time in this situation. He's so white he speaks 2 languages. That's as white as it gets. All he had to do was hit him with some French, just like Pocket Fent. No.
All right? Nary a day have you tune in the stream and I'm like, boys, today, plan is simple. We're getting up to some murder. It's never happened. So that's what I tell him every time. But the problem is I'm yelling at someone with no power, right? If you think about it in the grand scheme, they are not the people who make the decisions for the police department. They're not the unions. They're not the leads. They're not the operators who directly deal with the calls. So I'm basically yelling at the equivalent of a barista at a Starbucks that happens to have a gun.
Not even remotely true. Listen, he made this video. He made this video like very, I guess, like shortly after he got raided. And I mean, look, he's got a lot of experience with this. So, but I do disagree. I like Slime's take on this more than Ludwig's take, even though Slime was not there at the time. I think he's being as nice as possible. I'll show you what they did to the house, by the way. I mean, I guess because they're like Aiden showed it.
All right, so this is what happened.
They fucking one of the fat pig fucks busted through the goddamn roof.
Insulation
Apparently,
shit everywhere. Goes all the way down the stairs, all the way over there, all the way down there. And like
it's the reality that cops, even like the average boot, the fucking doorbuster, has a tremendous amount of power. That is the problem. I think I would go so far as to say that the real issue is the guy, the boot on the fucking ground has a fuckload of a fuckload of power. They can kill you. They can kill you and then make it seem like you're at fault. And they know that. They stepped past a very obvious marking in the set saying, don't step here because you'll fall through. Yeah.
this area, I wasn't even sure what it was, but it is the like blocked off area of the attic, like right near the production room in the studio upstairs, that we don't even step in, and they decided they needed to go clear it, and they just stepped on it and made a hole through the fucking ground, or through the fucking ceiling. So yeah, awesome. They just left all this here. Super sick, man. All right, so
apparently they also left the door out, and Coots got out even though they asked them to please close the door like 4 times so that the cat wouldn't get out. But from what I understand, Coots is back, and Coots is fine. Here's what Slime said. First time I got swatted, I got 9 shotguns pointed at me on my knees in the driveway. Thought I was going to get my head blown off in front of my friends when they have the audacity to say how it's a waste of time every time. Put the gun in your mouth, you fucking worthless pigs. That's what he said. It's unreal how fucking mean they are when they realize you aren't some murderer like you fucked up, even though they've been there multiple times while you are in handcuffs just waiting to go back to your day. I hope you get shot in the fucking shooting range. LARPing cunts. That's what he said. Muting this, if you want to slurp every last bit of nut out of your local Punisher flag enjoyer, literally nobody's going to stop you. But I've had enough guns pointed at me, even as a kid in my life, by wife beaters that just want to lock and load, so I'll pass on licking the boot. I mean, there is a understandable reason for why people have a lot of fucking resentment for cops, because, you know, they're just like an unaccountable murder force, and they are primarily responsible for this. They are primarily and predominantly responsible for all of this shit. We live in a nation where there is a concept such as the concept known as suicide by cop, where people who want to fucking commit suicide will literally call up a cop and will have a gun on purpose, even if it's a fake gun, because they know full well that cops will deal with it in the only way that they know how to. Okay? So that's also part of the reason why swatting is like extremely dangerous and also very, very illegal.
Telling them they're being dumb when they are like, well, I don't give a shit, bro. You can talk to corporate or my manager, because I'm neither of those.
Did I
It's
just
like
get
the
raided?
same.
Thank you, Healthy Gamer GG. Thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. We're talking about Ludwig currently.
Exact thing. So it's like, whatever. It's just a thing that I got to live with and deal with. And if it's an hour
My
out
cop dad was shot by another cop at the shooting range, and the guy had previous issues with another department that was never disclosed. Fun stuff.
of my Sunday, it's an hour out of my Sunday. Now, hopefully, they tell me every time. Next time they'll call me. Next time they'll be better.
How do you respond to departments that don't act like this? Not trying to be contrary, genuinely asking. I would never handle a call like this, and we get called like this frequently. I'm definitely a smaller department, about 300 officers. I know there are some systemic issues. What I'm saying is anecdotal, just curious. Bro, first of all, one, you're a cop, so it's going to be very hard for me to describe to you that your sole purpose as a part of your fucking job is to literally protect and serve the interests of capital, okay? Every time you have to bust the head of a homeless person or do a sweep in your fucking neighborhood, you might personally think you're doing it to clean up the neighborhood itself, but you're literally brutalizing a human being who has been fucked over by the system, okay? That's number one. But you're doing that because it's a part of your job. Every time you fucking pull someone over, or if you're a cop, you already know this, you have quotas at the end of the fucking month. Sometimes you are more aggressive with your revenue collection because you want to make sure that you're not, underperforming. That's all a part of the process. It's all part of the mechanism. That is incredibly unjustifiable. It's horrible. It's just you are a cog in the machine, and your output is just brutalizing people for the most part. Brutalizing some of the most marginalized people for the most part. Anyway, you can be a nice person when you're not a cop, right? And you could have even joined the force under really nice, because you watched a lot of movies and you thought like, man, I want to protect and serve. Like, no, I want to do this. But like, ultimately, when you're a cop, when you're on the job, you're not a nice person. You are a very bad person. You're doing very bad things to a lot of people who don't deserve it. Some of which who might actually deserve it, but the people that deserve it are like, a fraction. And even like we saw in the fucking Uvalde situation, a lot of cops don't even react when it is a fucking bad person, especially if they have a gun and they are legitimately a threat to many people, and only, let out their anxieties on people who are running away. So, it's just, and if you are a quote unquote good cop, you will get fucking pushed out of the force eventually, if not killed literally by your fucking peers in an accident. Because, the entire process protects its own. So, but yes, do not compare your 300 person precinct. Do not compare your 300 person precinct to also the Los Angeles Police Department, which is literally an incredibly militarized and a very brutal force, which especially, let alone, when we talk about the fucking sheriff's department, has its own fucking internal gangs, okay? Like, actually, sheriff's gangs. So there is that reality. Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm thinking about getting like a nice doormat that says in really long text, "Hello, if you are a policeman or SWAT team reading this, I am a YouTuber. My channel is youtube.com/LutherGaugen/live. I know it's really long. I've told YouTube about this in parentheses. Please do not come in so aggressively. I will come up. Just knock a few times. Thank you. Goodbye."
Oh, damn. Okay, now I realize why they raided Lud. Bro, it's really hard to find a YouTube live stream, brother. That's why they couldn't check if he was live, because he's on YouTube. Got him. Oh, they're like, there's no directory. I can't figure out if this fucking guy's live or not. Oh, that's great. Okay. Also, they can't really read. They're cops. Come on. Like, you fail to ASVAB and they put you in cop mode.
Goodbye. And then maybe that would work. Maybe that would work.
Because the problem is transatlantic accent. They should have never got rid of the dislike button. Why is the cop in a transatlantic accent?
The people on the phone who are faking the SWAT are talking to an operator who then talks to the people who come to the house, and there's confusion.
Fun fact, as a former gang member in LA, I personally, and in many occasions, cops will take us and drop us off in our enemy's territory for obvious reason. They are ruthless. Former gang member in the chat. Okay.
Along the way. And I can only do so much. This time was particularly annoying for one reason. I will say this. This pissed me off. When they come through, they leave every single door open, which is like annoying when your parents do it. It's as annoying when the police do it, turns out. And so they went through, they opened every door, and guess who snuck outside? If it was not young Coots.
Classic.
Young Coots snuck outside while the police were here, understandably. Because I don't want to be in this house either when there's police stomping around. Luckily, I called her and she came right to me. Sweetheart, thank you very much for that, Coots. Did scratch me, though. This was the most damage done to me today. Either way, an amazing thing came out of this. Okay? It's not all negative, right? We're mostly negatives here. Got swatted, chess tournament got delayed, feels bad, man. But one amazing thing happened, because when the police came, they have to go through every room, right? In one of the rooms they have to go in is our attic, where we do the yard podcast. So somehow, while walking through the yard set, they just fell through our ceiling. Just fell through it. Look at all the damage they did just falling through. How do you do that? We've been recording there for months. So now I get to get paid by the police department.
Let's go!
Which I think technically is...
You literally paid that, though. The problem is you kind of, in your taxes, quite literally paid for that damage. So, I don't... Not only did you pay for that damage in the payout that you're going to get, but you also literally paid for those dog shit potato sacks that come into your house and brutalize you. Because, you know, you're a high earner. So there is that reality, too. It's like a tax refund. I get no interest return on his own money. Yeah.
Is me still paying for myself because it's probably through tax dollars regardless. But, hey, still goes right back to my pocket. Shit. Anyway, that was it. I am fine. I am healthy. I am in good spirits. That's about all. I'll probably never talk about it again, just to be honest, if that's chill with you guys. All you little drama cats.
So yeah, he content brained it, but yeah, the reason why many of you are asking, I know you're asking my moderators, like, why don't you talk about the Kevils raids? Why don't you talk about the Kevils raids? Why don't you talk about the Kevils raids? The reason why I didn't want to talk about the Kevils raids for the longest time, except for the one moment that I did and then quickly stopped talking about it, is because, especially with like Ludwig has a way to protect himself. Ludwig is in a very different financial situation than Kevils is. Okay? But the reason why I don't like talking about this shit is because it's never ending for the most part. And the main purpose of it, the main reason why people do it is because they want to get your attention. They literally just want to get your attention. They want to stop. It's no different than someone in the chat writing some insane shit, okay? But, of course, they want to get your attention the worst way possible, and all that stuff. So, not that it's hypocrisy, but with your massive stream presence talking about this, aren't you worried that this will encourage it more? What about your safety? Hopefully you stay safe, fam. Yes, I know. But it's weird that you're saying, like, what about the hypocrisy of you putting yourself at risk? But yeah. Thank you. You should tell the clip channels not to post this so you can control exactly what you post on YouTube on this topic. Yes, clip channels, don't post this. Actually. Steven Crowder compares uploading YouTube videos to storming the beaches of Normandy. That's awesome. So yeah, we'll talk about that. I love how motherfuckers are saying how not talking about this is making it worse, and you're talking about this is making it worse. Yeah. So if it were up to me, I would never talk about it. I'm surprised when other content creators do talk about it. every time. Like when Amaranth talked about it, I was like, God damn, that's crazy. But I guess like they have enough protection so they feel comfortable talking about it, whether it's like stalkers or some of the other shit that like every streamer deals with. And I mean every fucking streamer, especially if you're a woman on the internet. Oh my Lord. Okay. Most probably the reason why Ludwig talked about it is because it happened on a live stream. So it was already, the cat was out of the bag at that point. Big fuck up. Big L from the Los Angeles Police Department. So good job on that, LAPD. You fucked up, but you fuck up all the time. But now, now you're going to use more of your resources. And they do hate that. They hate it, like I said, for two reasons. One, they hate it because like they got their dicks hard to go and like, lock and load and maybe kill some dogs and stuff. And then they weren't able to do that because it was a false raid. And also because it's a gigantic misuse of funds. But ultimately, it's a weird circumstance because like every streamer to a certain degree deals with stuff like this. And it's weird because like, do you talk about it? Do you not talk about it? Do you talk about the PTSD associated with it too? If it happens to you, do you not talk about it? So yeah. Can't stop once the hype playlist is popping off. They had no choice. Yeah. But yeah, the fucked up thing is that like when it happens, you're not supposed to show it. You're not supposed to show it because one, when you do show it, more copycats will try and do it because they're fucking stupid and don't realize that you can and will go to jail for this. Okay? Why doesn't this shit happen in Megastars where everyone knows their address? Because they're not fucking live, chatter. That's why. Twitch streamers are live. They are incredibly accessible. Twitch streamers are the closest to regular fucking... And obviously... Fuck. What? What the fuck was that? Jesus Christ, bro. Motherfucker sneezed like an old man, okay? Real celebrities also have armed security. Not always. Anyway, as I was saying, also, it probably does happen to some celebs, but when they're not streamers, they basically have no incentive for freaks. Yeah. Usually they do this when you're live streaming because they want to cut the stream off. You know what I mean? Yeah, Ethan's swatter is currently serving 20 years in jail. That dude's in jail for 20 years. And fuck you. I mean, you deserve it. Fuck yourself. I guess celebs get all types of those psychos, like stalkers trying to live on their property for months and them not knowing. Yeah. These nightmare people just want to see the follow through of their actions from home as parasocials to the 1,000th degree. They want to see that they affected your life. Yeah, exactly. So, what was I going to say? Oh, so, yeah, there's a new Jay Aubrey video on Andrew Tate. We'll watch that as well. But, you don't think 20 years is excessive? I do think 20 years is excessive. I think 10 is fine. But, oops. I guess we have cringe incarceration supporter. Yeah. Oops. I guess it's really fucked up that the criminal justice system is like that. I think 20 years is way too excessive. They never get 20 anyway. If it's 20, they get out on good behavior, and 10 usually. So when I say 10, they get out on 5 on good behavior. That's what I'm referencing. But, people don't understand. Like, that's attempted murder, okay? That's the way they treat swatting. because people have been murdered and people do get murdered during swattings. Get it? Like they're sicking the weaponized militia force of the state on an unsuspecting, random, innocent civilian. That in and of itself is a very serious charge. It is basically treated and should be treated in a similar capacity to, at least with the current predicaments of our police force being like a violent roaming gang, okay, of unaccountable murderers. It should be treated like going to someone's house with a gun, because it is. It is premeditated murder. Mostly due to fast, sweaty pick cops who scared for his life and shoot anything that moves. Yeah. But it's so indirect that it cannot be treated as the same as attempted murder by knife. Should it be? Shouldn't it be? Takes a lot to fucking knife someone. Doesn't take that much to actually get a cop to kill you. I'm just saying. It's probably a higher likelihood too. Yeah. Suicide by cop is a thing. Murder by cop is too, period. I mean, that's what it is. And police know that as well. And that's the reason why they treat it very seriously. Well, one, because they don't like misusing their funds. But that is the reason. This is literally the same as the U.S. military using drone strikes instead of going to third world countries themselves. Yeah. It is. It's like hiring a hitman. So, yeah. To your earlier point, it's not that big of a risk in a giant $3 million house, but when it happens to smaller streamers, it's legitimately an assassination attempt. Yeah. I'll also point out that I wasn't in a fucking $3 million house my entire career. So just, a reminder for you. And no, it's still fucked up. And it can happen to people in nice houses as well. Not that it has happened to me. Of course, it never has happened to me. Obviously, but it can happen to anyone, and it can happen to you in a nice house or in a shitty house. But if you are, at the very least, in a nice house, cops, I think, are probably good at context and nuance when it comes to like who they're dealing with. Regarding the misuse, don't the cops want to drain all the funds anyway to increase the annual budget? No. They are going to drain it anyway, but they'd rather drain it in a way that is fun for them and not in a way that, they want to drain it in a way that's like fun for them and not in a way that like basically fucking is a fake swatting attempt. Okay. Why does your skin look so good today? Because I got some sun, baby. They wouldn't rage you because they would never wish harm upon an LGBT foe and the world famous right wing commentator Hank Pecker. Yeah. Except they raid Tim Pool all the fucking time too. So. What is this? Would it be fair to look at this in the same way that you would look at a houseless person attacking a random person on the street? I think the take there was that the emphasis on rehabilitation for the attacker's illness. I mean, there is a degree there, right? You're still a homeless person attacking a random person on the street should still get fucking legal punishment. If you're like, oh my God, he didn't know what he was doing, he's crazy, then you're out of your fucking mind, obviously. when I say rehabilitation over incarceration, that doesn't still mean that you shouldn't fucking incarcerate someone who has attacked a human being. That would be psychotic. I am not a psychotic person. When people say that prisons are obsolete, that does not mean, or at least in most cases, that does not mean that there is no mechanism of like rehabilitation, or at least like taking someone away from society, even if it's for a brief moment or for a couple fucking years. It's the conditions of that incarceration, or rather it's the conditions of that rehabilitation that needs to drastically change in order to reduce our recidivism rates. Okay? Think about it a little bit more. Anyway, was Charles Manson really that bad? He didn't really hurt anyone himself at all. Yeah. Like when we talk about fucking police, right? I always say that some mechanism needs to exist for policing. Okay? I say this all the fucking time. People get mad at me on Twitter and eat my ass in the QRTs when I say, like, look, there needs to be a group of people that still, whether they're democratically organized and democratically assigned to that position or not, still need to have some kind of fucking there still needs to be some kind of fucking mechanism for making people feel like there is a semblance of law and order in society. Okay? It's the way that has worked historically and in contemporary society that is the problem. Okay? Anyway, let's get back to the news, though. America share their top concerns for the new school year. Stop looking at rehabilitation as a learning mechanism. Punishment and reward to enforce societal expectation doesn't work. Showcasing social values by supporting individuals does. I get that. And obviously, to tackle the largest percentage of like property crime, violent crime in general, the largest percentage of crime, you need to tackle the underlying material conditions. You need to ensure material restitution. You need to actually create an equal opportunity. Okay? That's the underlying major reason for this shit. But ultimately, there's still going to be psychos. Okay? So, like, what do you mean? Of course. Now, I'm not in favor of, like, treating every fucking person with a carrying offense under the same fucking system, under the same draconian lens that the American criminal justice system applies, especially aggressively to black and brown people. I'm not saying that we should do that, okay? But also, on the other hand, there are obviously still very real reasons for detectives to exist. There's still very real reasons for some form of not incarceration, but some form of, like, you know, taking someone that's done a bad thing and putting them in fucking timeout. Hasan Industries, thank you for the 100 gifted subs. Oh, speaking of which, 11,000 people were released from federal prison during the pandemic and put on home confinement. 17 people reoffended. That is a 0.15% recidivism rate. No typo. Now guess, how many of these folks didn't need to be in prison for so long in the first place? I've seen many lawmakers insist that even if one person reoffends, we can't let anyone out of prison even a day early. We will never have a 0% recidivism rate, but there are many, many people ready to leave prison and never come back. That's a great take. You mean 17 got caught? Motherfucker, they're in home confinement with an ankle bracelet, as this person also correctly points out. What do you mean? It's incredible. And by the way, that reoffense, okay? reoffended in that situation could mean literally a murder, okay? Or a rape or something like that. Or it could mean you went to a place without telling your parole officer that you were not supposed to go to. Or you tested positive on a fucking a drug test because you smoked weed. Okay? So that's a reoffense in that situation because the parole system is also completely fucking broken. The punishments don't end. You are not allowed to reintroduce yourself into society. NPR reported that only 17 out of the 11,000 federal prisoners released on home confinement under CARES were arrested for new crimes. Today I asked the BOP what crimes were. Oh, the majority were fucking drug related. 17 for criminal conduct, new criminal conduct, 10 drug related, 1 escape with prosecution, 1 smuggling non-citizens, 1 weapon, 1 nonviolent domestic disturbance, 1 theft, and 1 aggravated assault, and 1 DUI. 11,000. That is a mind-boggling fucking fraction, dude. That is incredibly marginal. This is like a gangbuster success. Do you understand? As far as the story goes. Personally, I'm shocked someone thrown in prison for drug-related crimes might resume drugs use once they're out with zero intervention or rehabilitation in the interim. Or people that fucking go to prison for lower offenses like drug possession end up, getting more into drugs in prison because there is an economy within the prison. I'm going to go grab a coffee. Hold on one second. 11,000 prisoners were released into the streets and were able to receive gifted subs at the top of the hour. Fuck me. Fuck you. God damn it. That's a great ass fucking debate. I didn't even, I fucking totally got ripperonied on that. At the top of the hour, there's a 6-second ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free. Okay? We do believe in rehabilitation here. If you're a routine offender of the top of the hour ad break hitting you in the face, your mechanism for saving yourself from that is by subscribing for $5 or free with a Twitch Prime or by getting gifted a fucking sub. Okay? If you're lucky, though. If you're not lucky, you can make your own luck. If you haven't gotten one of the 100 gifted subs that Hasan Industries gave, then you're probably not going to get lucky. Here's the 1-minute ad break now. Transphobia Phobic with another 20 gifted. Thank you, Transphobia Phobic. All right, now let's watch. Americans share their top concerns for the new school year.
Welcome back. So as students return to schools all across the country, some parents are voicing their concerns about what's being taught in the classroom. I took a trip to Loudoun County, Virginia, the epicenter of the education debate, to hear the concerns for myself. Watch.
What is your biggest concern in this school year?
I think it's just making sure that they're on track, teaching the right stuff, the right historical perspective, none of this crazy stuff they've been teaching. Get away from this sexuality, gender identification. It's a living nightmare.
At this point, I think the COVID is pretty much behind us, but the parents are still worried about it a little bit. And I think maybe my daughter and my son-in-law are just worried about the curriculum a little bit.
Number one, curriculum. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say the curriculum. I've got 4 grands, 3 in elementary, and it's just a lot of online computer stuff. So much is. I think it's important, but I don't think it should dominate. And I think sometimes they get left to doing that too much.
Curriculum, school, getting back to school, getting back to normal, what it should be in school.
The curriculum.
Yeah.
We're concerned about the curriculum and what we're being told and not told, and the influences on the kids and the negativity in the schools.
Maybe focusing on real education and not political views of the teachers.
I mean, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Straight up, that's my main concern. Sick and tired of them teaching children at schools about slavery and how it was bad. That's a political take. Why can't we normalize that kind of behavior again? Fucked up. They call it CRT. Critical race theory. It's fucked up.
Parents have got to speak out. They've got to get involved. You just can't be a bystander. Yeah.
I think Loudoun County, they speaking real loud these days.
Sure, a lot of them are. Yeah. That's right.
You bet.
Yeah, they are. So during my teachers focus group, I spoke with educators on how politics has entered classrooms across the country. And they have a message to parents heading into the new school year. Take a look. It seems like politics has entered in the classroom. Does it put you in an uncomfortable spot as an educator, or do you think it's healthy for the kids to have that type of conversation?
What I see as our challenge is to create 21st century problem solvers. So we might gloss over some things. We may not go into that really hard in the classroom, but we might present a social problem and say, well, what are your thoughts? And you know, my age kids are amazing thinkers, so they can really come to a solution that I wish politicians would come to. It seems so common sense. But like I said, we're trying to develop kids to be learners. We're trying to train children for jobs that don't exist yet. So they have to be the problem solvers. They have to be the critical thinkers.
Elizabeth, do you see any concerns with parents thinking that some educators are stepping into their territory right now when it comes to some of the conversations that are being had in the classroom?
It can happen. I think, and as an educator, we have to show all sides.
Yeah.
And that's the part that we have to be very clear about and consistent about through all the grade levels, that we're showing just people and what's out there and getting kids to think out of the box, like you were mentioning. It shouldn't come, I don't think politics should play into it.
I mean, my goddaughter, she's kindergarten, and some of the stuff that they're asking for kindergarten to do, color of people's skin, different things like that, where these kids are days where they're just loving their classmates, right?
What is what did this guy just fucking malfunction? What the fuck? Bro, are these editors on crack at Fox News? What's happening right now? Was that even a stroke, or was that like just the editors were just like, fuck it, YOLO? You know what I mean? Also, I can't tell if like they what they edited it to make it seem more unhinged, like
things like that, where these kids are days where they're just loving they're asking for kindergarten to do color of people's skin, different things like that, where these kids are days where they're just loving their classmates right now. But it appears like there's something that is being discussed on the collegiate level, right, being brought
right,
watered down form for the young people to discuss.
I'm going crazy. I feel like it's getting worse. The simulation is breaking down. Why is no one I think it's an encoding issue. Yeah, I was going to say, why are none of the ladies like freaking out that there's a robot that's malfunctioning in front of them? That's weird. Kindergartners, CRT. CRT, what is racism. See no color.
I myself do not bring any of that into the room. I think it's ethically wrong, and that my job is to teach my kids the art of literature. Yeah. So for me personally, anything that oversteps a parent's bounds is wrong.
Yeah. That's your red line, right?
That is my red line. I make it very clear. I do not.
What? Anything that steps over a parent's boundary is wrong? Like, what do you mean? That's such a broad category, man. That could be anything. These people are so fucking stupid.
Not talk politics. Every child gets the same treatment. I make sure that every kid understands they're walking into my room and we all have the same goal, and that is success.
I want to know what your message is for this upcoming year. What do you want parents to know? What do you want the world to know? Brooke, I'll start with you.
I would just say patience. Patience with your children, patience with the teachers. Teachers know what they're doing. You're sending your child to school. You're turning over some of that responsibility for their upbringing to that teacher. Trust that person. Teachers see a lot of children in their classrooms every single year. They have a great baseline and understanding of children.
I love the patience message. Kindness, compassion for yourself, for others, for your child's single teacher. It's the only way forward if we work together and we try to gain an understanding. It's not us versus you.
We're here for you, and we're here to team with you for your child. We spend 7.5 hours a day with your child. We love them. We want them to succeed. Build a relationship. Talk to me. Email me. You know, I have a texting app. Text me if you have a concern.
And if parents can remember that they're there to guide their children on their journey. And as teachers, we're in it because we love to take them on their journey, and we will guide them and help them along the way.
Communication between the teacher and the parents is key. Full transparency and, you know, just motivate kids at home.
Okay, this video is fucking terrible. I can't do this. All right. All right, let's get to student loan debt relief. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the, you know, it's the story of the month. But fuck, I wonder if we should do this yet, or if we should also talk about Ben Shabibo. I kind of want to talk about this because, I mean, Ben will probably make a video on this, but Ben Shapiro wrote a Twitter thread about the Republicans and why they are losing. And let me tell you, unlike Ben's, easy tweets that get like 30K, 40K likes, this one didn't bang as much because he was saying like, Trumpism is actually hurting the Republican Party. Normally, he'll fucking turn around and say something along the lines of like, actually, trans people are weird. And then it's like 100K likes and everyone's like, yeah, you're so brilliant. But then when he puts his actual intellectual hat on for a brief moment and make some analysis as to why the Republican Party is currently underwhelming and underperforming, then it gets only 9,000 likes. Now, of course, that doesn't mean anything, but let's take a look at what he had to say. The Republicans are losing steam in the 2022 election. There are some reasons for this. The Democratic upswing in the wake of Dobbs being the most obvious factor. This definitely is playing a role. But there's something else going on here that represents a deeper problem for the Republican Party. The GOP is miscalibrating the very nature of American political sense seen right now based on a myth. In fact, the entirety of American politics is based on dueling versions of the same false mythology. The mythology of the emerging Democratic minority majority. MEDMM. Okay? Democrats have banked on this myth since 2012, believing that it excuses their cultural and economic excesses. This is untrue, and has led them into an electoral box canyon as many minorities turn away from their woke progressive overreach. Yeah. There is no statistical bearing for this, but interesting enough that Ben's still saying that. And of course, the idea of the mythology of the emerging Democratic minority majority. I don't know what the excesses are, like the cultural and economic excesses within the Democratic Party. Meanwhile, Republicans have also banked on MEDMM, the mythology of the emerging Democratic minority majority, to the extent that they believe only a magical person like Donald Trump can defeat it. This means that when Trump is attacked, Republicans immediately return to making him the centerpiece of the conversation, and this harms them electorally, as every poll is now showing. Two things can be true at once. First, the FBI raid on Trump looks like a political hit. Second, the more Republicans talk about Trump, the worse they do electorally. Americans vote against things, not for them. But this is the only true part about this. This is the only true part about this. And the main reason for why Americans vote against things and not for them is because usually the Democratic Party doesn't offer anything to vote for. Okay? Like, you should vote for things. That's how it's supposed to work. You should vote for things. You should vote for nice things, good things, things that change for the better. That's partially the reason why you vote. That's why you take time out of your day in one of the countries where voting is not all that easy. If we're being real, that's one of the major issues here in America is that, like, voting, not an easy process. Sorry, it's just the truth. And to anyone who says that's not really the case, I voted very easily in my fucking 30-person town. Well, you know, that's not the case in big cities. Okay? And also, people can't take time out of their jobs. You know, they can't take time out of their day. So, there are issues there. And that is by design. But everyone engages in defensive voting in this country. Okay? Everyone engages in that. If Republicans want Americans to vote against Biden, they have to campaign against him, not against the FBI or the deep state or whatever, or whatever Trump had the right to have the boxes or classified documents in his closet. This part isn't incorrect. I think the Republicans are having a very hard time with the reality that they have associated everything with Biden, which was good for them electorally when the economy was in the pooper, okay, when gas prices were like $8 fucking, right? But it's no longer good when gas prices are $4 fucking. The greatest example of this is something that we talked about in this stream months ago. When gas prices started going down, we were like, well, what about those fucking Biden "I did this, Jack" stickers? Those stickers are now turning into campaign promises and campaign stickers. That's what happens when you say that Dark Brandon is the only reason for why you feel the economic struggle. Now the "I did that" sticker looks good. So there is truth to that a little bit. Okay? I mean, $4 is still ass. Brother, it's getting better though. And that's the point. Not $8 fucking. I thought you were in hiding? What? Huh. I feel like people are unwell. Anyway. amount of money, you're good for fucking 12 years on interest free. Like you're no longer accruing interest. Like that's a huge part of the reason why you get, added on debt to your already existing massive amount of debt. You know? What would the average Republican think of decriminalizing weed? Who gives a fuck what the average Republican thinks? For so many people, it's life-changing. It's a genuinely positive, very positive thing. The only criticism towards like the Brandon debt relief is that they didn't do more of it. Okay? They like hyper tailored this towards like people that aren't making so much that it's considered offensive. Like they made it so they means tested it in a way that like literally almost single-handedly destroys the counter of like this is a gift to the wealthiest people. And then surprise, Republicans are still saying this is a gift wrapped to the wealthiest people, so it doesn't even fucking matter. It just doesn't even matter. They're still saying it. Not a single Republican was like, hold on now. This is not a gift wrapped to the wealthiest people. Like, no, they're still saying it. Do you think America should be split up into 2 or more countries? No, I'm not in favor of balkanization. That's never worked, okay? I'm in favor of the Ottomanization. So, the main reason why Democrats are doing well is because Republicans actually went forward and took some electoral L's to finalize their long-standing campaign promises, which seemed weird because, keeping abortion as the main reason, keeping abortion, which is only supported by keeping abortion as like a campaign promise, which is only supported by like 30% of the Republican Party anyway, or the entire voter base anyway. Keeping that as a fucking campaign promise was much better for the Republican Party overall than to actually follow through on it. Because now, once you have actually criminalized abortion, all of a sudden you have to do more. And the greatest example on the other side to the reaction to this, situation is that people like Blake Masters and everyone else is basically dialing it back. All of a sudden, abortion is no longer murder. Actually, we were just kidding. Some abortions are good. They're greatly scaling that. Process back. And the reason why they're doing that is because they realize they're getting fucking hammered. They're getting cumstered. You can't actually, if you want to keep making your dog run, okay, you can't take the the treat off the end of the stick. Dog's no longer gonna run when you give them the fucking treat. Republicans were slated for a big W in the midterms. Currently, not so much. Blake Masters went back to the tried and true shitting on diversity. Leadership of the Federal Reserve has become the most diverse ever. There are more female, black, and gay officials contributing to the central bank's interest rate decisions than any time in its 109-year history. This is the rhetoric we need, not that crappy abortion ad. You must not like being blatantly pandered to. Nobody does. Finally, a compelling explanation for why our economy is doing so well. Yeah, the homosexual black women at the fucking at the Federal Reserve is the reason for why they made such a ridiculous decision as to increase the interest rates. Like scale back on a decade of quantitative easing. love that. Anyway. Ay, ay, ay. Jerome Powell is BIPOC. Do you think people will get mad at you for playing the Hogwarts game? Yeah, I might actually end up not playing it because these things are fucking popping off. I was thinking of buying it and then fundraising for every time I play it, fundraising for, well, not buying it, but buying it. And then fundraising for Trans Lifeline and numerous other charities, like numerous other trans charities. But I feel like people will be very upset. Wait, why is this game controversial? It's controversial because it's fucking J.K. Rowling. Even though it's her IP, right? And she is a gigantic fucking turf. I truly feel like the backlash that will come of this is just not worth it because goddamn, trans posters can be very, very, very unhinged. And God forbid, you don't want them coming. Because they're not going to go after fucking Nazis and shit. They're going to go after me if I play it. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, fuck you. Anyway. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. Don't know if you know this, but the lead creative was a pro Gamergate YouTuber. I mean, I don't give a fuck. There's... guys, you are never going to get me. You're never going to convince me that, a piece of art should not be consumed because the creator was problematic. I don't live like that. I don't know. I don't know why you think I'm going to behave that way. I'm just not. That's never going to happen. I don't care. At least I'm being honest. You probably don't care either, especially because in 98% of the circumstances, you don't even fucking know that there's a problematic person that was involved in the making of this artwork. Of course it was. That's a reason. There's a reason for everything. Okay. There's a reason that you won't buy. You can. Original take on the HP game, yeah. I did. I wanted to play it. I was excited for it. I think it's like a. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. It looks kind of cool. Fuck other Magic students or what? I'm trying to take what was her name, Cho, on a date. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to go to prom and shit. I had the biggest crush on her when I read the books. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking relive my child. This guy working for a video game studio is problematic and impossible. You don't like Harry Potter because his creator is problematic. I don't like Harry Potter because British people and Magic LARPing is cringe. We are not the same. Yeah, I mean, I make fun of people who really, really love Harry Potter, especially into their adulthood. But I looked at the fucking thing. I looked at the trailers and stuff, and it did look cool. The game is also apparently about putting down a goblin rebellion, which seems odd. Dude, okay. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but it's not real. I don't think they're going to be able to convince people that, what do you think a video game created with thousands of people that fucking touched it is actually secretly created with the express purpose of changing people's minds about the Haitian Revolution or something? What do you're gonna play the Harry Potter game and be like, you know what? I now think the Haitian Revolution was bad. What the fuck? Shut the fuck up, chatters. Just wait till people find out you're going to be doing war crimes when Modern Warfare 2 comes out. Yeah, I don't know. Ugh. They're saying it's anti-Semitic, I think. Also, apparently the actress who played Cho in the HP series also voiced Caitlyn in the Arcane series. Them goblins are stereotypical. Yeah, no, I know the goblins that control the money absolutely are euphemistic for Jews. They literally, I mean, she did that 100%. You know, a lot of the fantasy genre has that. You should play it. Being afraid of the backlash doesn't sound like you, Habibi. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. What is this? Other countries are mad at the Japanese. Oh my God, this is reversible? That looks kind of fire. Just play it in private. How are these losers going to know? Unironically, in pockets of Twitter, you know the ones. The Haitian Revolution is thought of as bad because the rebelling slaves were thought to have committed a genocide. Stop. Stop. We're not doing... every other video game is made by Unity, who's literally making operating systems for the U.S. military. So who gives a shit? I'm not going to stop playing video games. Yeah. Like, I like how I'm friendly, reminder, uwu, and these people are like, fuck you, you'll never understand. I just want to support a transphobe. Y'all are weird as fuck. Like, there's going to be so many more tweets of this. And I just think it's not worth it. It's not worth to get the fucking endless sea of people being like Hasan is transphobic, because first they're gonna say, regardless of how large this community's like you know, trans members are, right, regardless of how pro-trans I am, people are literally gonna turn around and be like, dude, you're so transphobic. They're gonna fucking pull like the for the millionth time, they're gonna pull up like old fucking old things that I've said that were transphobic that I've like openly addressed like 10 years ago, you know what I mean? And be like, ah, we got him. And it's just like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to fucking relive this song and dance over and over again. Yeah, and they will use it against me forever. They'll say I love J.K. Rowling. Tolkien was also basing the looks of the orcs on the more savory on tribes of Mongolians. This was a letter on the creation process of orcs, if I recall correctly. Fantasy is filled with problematic depictions. Yeah, I don't... Whatever. Chad has probably watched Sean's video of Harry Potter and how JK's personal beliefs are found throughout. It's a great video. I'm not going to watch an hour-long video or 2 hours long video about how JK Rowling put like sneaky racist and transphobic fucking shit in her content. The reason why I wanted to do it was specifically to raise money. I thought that like the inherent controversy of me, a very openly pro-trans content creator, playing a game like that and using every fucking dollar off of that game to turn around and raise money for trans charities. I thought that would be a good way to... I thought that originally that would be a good way to you know, do that. However, I feel like no matter what happens, regardless, they would be like, you just wanted to play this game and you're just trying to, you know, you just want to play this fucking game and you're secretly transphobic, and also that's the reason why you're doing this, blah, 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 blah. And they would still use it against me. The charity idea is actually pretty solid. Might work. Obviously, weirdos on Twitter might still cry, but they have a less valid footing. Yeah. But the value gained by randos popping off on you is seen as higher. Tragedy of the commons. Yeah, exactly. We'll see. Maybe I'll do it. I'm trans. If Austin can eat at Chick-fil-A, I can be a witch. Fuck leftist Twitter. Every streamer is going to be playing it launch day, and you're going to be in there not playing it and still somehow get blamed? Most likely. Bro, why even try to appease those people if you're doing it for charity? I'm not. You're wrong. You're misunderstanding me. I don't care about appeasing like random fucking random trans people on Twitter or like random leftists on Twitter. I don't care about appeasing them. There's no appeasing them. I care about getting fucking ass clapped for months on end for no fucking reason. You know what I mean? That's what I care about. I just don't. The backlash is not worth it. You know what I mean? What? Holy shit, is this true? What is this? Another person that fucking blocked me. You're not going to play it because of backlash? Please lie to me and say it's because it doesn't look fun. This is such a big L and I don't even like watching you game, dude. You are essentially saying we aren't worth it? No, because no. I'm actually saving you in the end because if I get fucking clapped up, if I get my ass cheeks blown to smithereens by left Twitter that's like desperately looking for fucking clout farming off of the inevitable backlash that will come out of this, so much so that I've already, it'll be like Hasan didn't tell his streamer friends off for playing this game instead. Yeah, exactly. Then it's going to be insane. Fuck. It's just going to ruin the content for weeks. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We're done. We're done talking about that. I might still play it. Like I said, I might still play it. I do think it's fun. Like the game looks good. It might suck, but it does look good. Should do a stream playing a different game or doing commentary on release day, still raising money for the trans community. See, there you go. There you go. This person wants me to have 10,000 viewers while playing a fucking random irrelevant game and raise way less money for the trans community. That will really show everyone. This is why I'm the streamer and you're the watcher. I think I'm not the greatest at like figuring out what kind of content slaps, but I do understand how to do it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you should leave the streaming to me. I don't know. I don't come to your job and tell you how to do your job. You know, Rolling would totally hype you up doing a charity stream with the game. What? Are you fucking insane? You think J.K. Rowling would hype up a trans lifeline charity? Are you out of your fucking mind, dude? No, she wouldn't. She literally wants to melt trans people, dude. Get the fuck out of here. She would not. I don't think she would be a fan of her IP being used in this regard. Anyway, what is this? Tate is ass? Okay, listen, I'm not a big MMA guy, but like, I don't know why people constantly fucking use shit like this. Because like, again, I'm not a big MMA guy, right? But I'm pretty sure that he still won some fucking championships and shit. You know what I mean? That's kickboxing, not MMA. I mean, regardless. All right. We made fun of Blake Masters. Let's move on. In this insane clip, Steven Crowder equates posting YouTube videos to storming the beaches of Normandy. Which, by the way, is, of course, again, really, really fucking, really cool. I mean, if a leftist were to do such a thing, Steven Crowder and others would make fun of them, understandably, forever, right? Oh, leftists fucking think posting on Twitter is like praxis or whatever.
All right, guys, this is it. 2020. Move fast and avoid getting those community guidelines striked.
I want regular content from all of you. It's an election year, so use those algorithms.
If you're not sure if your content's borderline, err on the side of caution. We don't need any more channels being banned.
That's awesome. This is fire. This is... The theater kid jumped out on this one, dude.
Keep your content clean, gentlemen. I'll see you on YouTube.
Okay, let me show you, boys. Come on, don't think like that. I promise you, after this, I'll buy everyone here a round of beer. Okay?
His Tom Hanks is I can't believe I'm doing this. His Tom Hanks is surprisingly not bad. I guess when it comes to like impersonating white actors, he has range. A range that certainly does not exist for black actors, of course. Every time he does, or black characters in real life, black people in real life, like it's always the most racist, like Chris Tucker impersonation. Kind of surprising that this incredibly untalented demon is able to do a decent Tom Hanks. You know, you got to give it to him. I'm fair, man. I call balls and strikes.
Okay, even Brandon. Thank you, sir. Was he got a salute? He was got a salute. That's not protocol. Corporal Black, tell me you have some good news.
So wait, is that the woman that they're carrying? They're carrying the woman who was like killed?
Bring it down.
Captain, they've got us surrounded. I don't know how much more we can take.
Come on, don't think like that. I promise you, after this, I'll buy everyone here a round of beer. Okay, even Brandon. Thank you, sir. Was he got a salute? He was got a salute. That's not protocol. Corporal Black, tell me you have some good news for me.
Afraid not, Captain. There's hardly anybody left. They took out Gavin. Trinket, you got ambushed. Bitch Shapiro's gone, and it gets worse.
How could it get any worse?
It's just box videos, doll unboxings, and makeup tutorials with training.
Corporal Black! Corporal Black! You Palo Alto bastard!
Sure, we need to surrender.
Oh, come on! We didn't come all this way just to give it up to some Silicon Valley sprite, right?
Historically accurate. They're on the wrong side of the beach. I mean, yeah, they have defended the Nazi side. So there's that. They should deadass make a movie out of this. Yeah, no, they're like I said, any leftist that compares like the beaches of Normandy, which of course is just owned by the Republican side. Because remember, anytime Republicans want to say like things are so bad, like children nowadays are fucking complaining. Children nowadays don't know what it's like. They didn't storm the beaches of Normandy. That's their number one thing to constantly fucking point to, right? That's their favorite thing to point to. That's the favorite thing to fucking compare to all the time. So if a liberal were to make that same comparison, oh my Lord, they would just make fun of them non-fucking stop. They would make fun of them non-stop. But of course, because they own the beaches of Normandy, even people who have, on their own broadcast, openly stated that they understand the disdain that Nazis had and how, like, trans people caused them to radicalize by existing, can turn around and still make a video like this.
Let's move on to the other big thing that the administration did. Now, college loans. It's interesting.
Okay, let's see if Bill Maher has a good take on this.
I know, there's people who have college loans. There are other people in America, the vast majority of Americans didn't go to college, and they don't have college loans, so they're a little pissed about this. They're like, you know, there are plumbers out there saying, well, why don't you pay off my truck instead, because that's what my money went to, my life went to. It's amazing to me when I read in the paper today how many Democrats are divided about this. They're not completely behind this idea that Joe Biden...
That's so dumb. Yeah, well, those Democrats are fucking stupid, and they want to lose, and they love losing. How about they shut the fuck up? How about that? Also, why the fuck do people care about plumbers this much? Like, no one cares about plumbers like this. They never bring up any amount of debt that plumbers take on in any other meaningful capacity. But all of a sudden, they're like, oh, we're on the side of plumbers on this. Motherfucker, plumbers have children. They have student loan debt. Okay? You're talking about like this mythical person. And I'm sure there are people like this, obviously. Of course there are. Of course there are people who don't have a child that went to fucking college or something, and they didn't go to college themselves, and they don't have any student loan debt, and they're going to be chirping about it because they're selfish or whatever the fuck. But like, not every initiative is going to be extremely positive for you. Sometimes it can be positive for other people. What the fuck? Where is people's sense of empathy for their fellow man?
Biden is paying off people's student loans. So where are you on that one?
I think, you know, during the presidential, I was the one that said rich.
My nephew's an HVAC dude who has become libbed up due to this. He has exactly $10K in student loans, so out of touch, lol. There you go. Biden is securing the most undermined, most marginalized constituency of all. The HVAC specialists, okay? And even they have fucking loans! Because, fun fact, 45 million Americans own a collective total of $1.7 trillion of debt in the form of student loan debt that is currently in the hands of the American government, the Department of Education, and it's already been paid for, and they could very easily just write it off. They could say, hey, we're taking the L on this. So good luck. Whenever you talk about not knowing a single person that has taken a fucking loan to go to college, that's just a self-report. It's a self-report about how fucking profoundly privileged you are, not the other way around. It is the greatest fucking example to figure out if someone is so motherfucking privileged that they don't know a single person that took out college loans, dude. What's up? Are you motherfuckers not hanging out in any circles that have like even middle-class people? Are you just exclusively hanging out with like the ultra wealthy? That's crazy. That's actually fucking crazy to me. It is, in my opinion, harder to find an American that at least doesn't know anyone with fucking student loan debt than an American with student loan debt.
kids, we shouldn't be paying for their college. You just can't staple a diploma for free under everyone's chair. Part of that is I think we need to focus on apprenticeships and filling the hard-to-fill jobs. That being said, Bill, this is more targeted than a bunch of the proposals that were out there. And 87% of the money.
Or you just don't know anyone who went to college in general. My dad's side is that way. Lucky to graduate high school. I mean, that's still wild, dude. You don't know a single, like your dad's side. I'm sure your dad's side still has someone who's been saddled with debt, because education is the single largest factor in upward social mobility in a country that doesn't have much of it, which is precisely the reason why, with the GI Bill and everything else that accompanied it, Americans all went to college, or at least like tried to go to college. And a big part of that also made colleges infinitely more expensive, made it a way scammier. But everyone at least knows someone. Everyone knows at least someone that at least like either went to a trade school, which also you have to pay for, unless your fucking job is paying for it. Okay? Or community college and then, regular college. Associating with the proletariat, please. You are more out of touch with the working class of America if you do not know a single fucking person that has no student loan debt whatsoever. Straight up. That is precisely why you see so many people. That is precisely why you see so many people in the media, in those circles, actually have the takes they have. Because they're, one, old, so they went to college at a time when it was like super fucking cheap. Or two, their parents paid for it. Or three, yeah, I mean, that's it. That's actually it. Those are the main two reasons. Their parents paid for it. They don't even know anyone that fucking didn't have their parents pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, they're just nuts. I'm a carpenter with student loans because I got a journalism degree. Yeah, this is a very realistic scenario as well. I know plenty of people that actually got like a marketing degree or some shit like that and then went into the trades after that.
Goes to people that are making less than $75,000 a year. You've got, it will help nurses. It helps nurses. It helps teachers. It helps electricians. A bunch of people have community college loans.
Yeah.
That being said, if I could wave a magic wand and do what I want to do, I would have actually tied it to the hard-to-fill jobs. We have 10 million job openings right now in our country.
My God. That is psychotic, dude. Hey, you want to have your debts fucking paid for? Then you have to literally, you have to do the slavery, okay? Yeah, we're putting you in debtor's prison. God damn it, that is so psychotic. I hate these people so much. How about no? How about none of that? What the fuck? That is so insane, dude. Hey, I'm sorry. Listen, you got student loan debt, which unironically is the reason why you are already servile and signing up for a life of like indentured servitude. Well, guess what? You still are. She said, get back to work, you fucking silly bitches.
2 million of them are in healthcare, assisted living. So if people will go into those jobs instead of being like hedge fund managers, then we could actually put the loan repayment help and have it connected to people going into the jobs that we need to fill. I think that would be a way you can do it. But I do think it's important for people to understand.
What an insane take. Okay, calm down, chatter. Here, take an hour off, okay?
Understand that this is a targeted program that he put out.
50 years ago, 70% of good jobs required a high school diploma. Now, they say 70% require a college degree. So I know this is like supposed to address...
Yeah, exactly. You just openly stated why this is good. Yeah, exactly. Over the course of the past 50 years, everyone went to fucking college. Or at least tried to. Even if they failed and they still got the fucking debt. Yeah. No, that's the point. That's literally the point. Thank you. That's the point. Exactly. That's how it works. Okay? That's literally it. That's the point.
income inequality, but it kind of does the reverse because it's the people who have college degrees.
Yeah, but there are also parents of those kids who don't have college degrees who want their kids to be able to go to college so that they can have a better life than they did. And we have to address.
I'm still laughing at the ridiculous talking point that Amy Klobuchar put out there that like some fucking dickhead whose uncle was already in a fucking hedge fund, okay, that went to Yale because his father paid off like, I don't know, another branch of the fucking library. It was, instead of going to a hedge fund, was going to be saddled with debt, but instead of going to a, which wasn't going to happen anyway, but he's saddled with debt, and instead of going into the fucking hedge fund job, he's actually going to go and become, work at an old folks home.
Address the cost of going to college. I mean, I'm an old man, but when I went to college, at UCLA, it cost me $242 to go to school for a whole year. Now it's crazy what you have to pay, and it's unfortunate, and it does target the kids that are most in need.
But I keep saying on this show, no one's listening, but I keep saying,
well, it's your show.
I know, no,
So
I'm just saying nobody, eventually they follow my lead, but it takes years.
A decade.
Takes years and someone else to claim it. Anyway, but I keep saying it's not about affordability. Yes, college is unaffordable. It's about making college more unnecessary. It's a giant scam. It's a consumer product that they're selling you as a golden ticket to be in the upper middle class. But they're not really getting any education.
Did you go to college?
Of course.
Of course.
Because that's
and look at the job you have. You're a big
Fucking owned, by the way. I mean, low-key owned. Low-key owned. I mean, you can try to cut the whole like, oh yeah, don't get an education, like fuck that bullshit. But like, yeah, okay, shut the fuck up. You went to college. Yeah, fuck yourself. How about that?
I'm Guy and have your own show. Would you have your own show with? Maybe you would. I don't know.
Yes, I would.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah. No,
No, I mean, actually,
Yeah,
yes.
but you wouldn't qualify for the loan repayment. Income.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, most jobs they do not really require. It's a scam. And you talked about nurses. I've talked to so many nurses. My mother was a nurse. I still know many nurses that were friends. Okay, administrators, teachers, they all have this complaint that at a certain point they need more education to like advance in their career. When really, they know exactly what they're doing. They don't. It's just a way to make you go back to school. And I feel like education is to Democrats what tax cuts are to Republicans. They think it solves everything.
Well, it's not just upper education. You're also talking about K through 12.
Did he just say he doesn't want educated nurses? What? He didn't just say that, right? What the fuck? I mean, okay, listen, guys. What? I don't even know what the fuck. What? That's so insane. I don't know how to respond to that, dude. What? He's like, nurses don't need an education. Look, a lot of jobs you learn on the job, okay? A lot of jobs you learn on the job. And nursing is no different, right? Every job you learn more when you're actually doing it. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't get the underlying training. I don't know what this... What? The point is correct. My mom has been in nursing for 17 years, but can't move into administration because they've changed it to requiring a master's when it wasn't that before. I mean, that part is fine. But, shitting on education for that reason is kind of ridiculous. It's kind of silly.
And that's something the Democrats have cared about forever. And you see Republicans moving away from public education. That, to me, is where the money should be going. And yes, there are people who should go to college. If you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to do something.
Again, all these fucking liberal arts university educated motherfuckers are running around being like, yeah, it's only for technical jobs with like high skilled that you need to go to a college education for. It's like, no, dude, it's good for everybody, okay? It's good for everyone. It's good for everyone. Education is not bad. Even if you're not learning anything in fucking college for the most part, it's good to have that kind of experience as well. I just absolutely fucking despise so many people who like act like this is not a good thing, okay? Like they constantly fucking point the finger at like lesbian dance theory or like critical queer theory or some shit. Like as though those are the only majors that are allowed, okay? You're just pointing at things that you don't like that people are learning, okay? That's it. That's the only thing you're doing. It's so dumb. It's so stupid. They make up like a tiny fraction of college majors. If people want to do that, then they can, okay? Let me better myself for the good of me and the people I care about as a nurse or doctor. Yeah, no, it's just you're not supposed to do that. Exactly. It's always people with like liberal arts degrees though that fucking say this. Like they've become extremely wealthy. They go to film school or they go to a fucking liberal arts university. They get a fucking shit degree and then they spend their entire lives shitting on that shit degree while they make millions of fucking dollars and tell you, no, you can't do that. Can't get that fucking degree. It's so silly. It's so dumb.
That, you want to be in the space industry, you have to go to college. There are other jobs that you don't need college for.
Yeah.
And so you have to make that choice.
I think you and I have shared this view. We're not going to have a shortage of sports marketing degrees here. We're going to have a shortage of plumbers, electricians. We have a shortage of nurses, technology workers. And some of those jobs require high education. Some of them require apprenticeships. And we just got to meet people where they are. And that's why I'd like to tie it to the jobs that we need to fill.
Yeah, no. Her fucking take on this is dumb as hell. That level of like that kind of incentivization should already exist separately from the student loan debt relief. But the way to do that is not by like weaponizing the fucking debt that people are saddled with, but instead offering additional if you want to do tax credits, you can do that too if you want. Or better fucking pay rises for said jobs. Better labor union protections for said jobs. People just want good jobs. God forbid we do that on a pro-labor platform, though. Holy fuck, the entire system would break. You know what I mean? It's that simple, dude. Straight up. It's that simple. At the top of the hour, people don't want to watch the fucking 60-second ad break. All right? They don't. They don't want to watch it. So what do? They get a high-paid job. So they pay, so they can easily pay for a $5 a month subscription. And even if they don't have a high-paying job to be able to do that, then they do it for free with a Twitch Prime by stealing someone else's Prime account and connecting it to their Twitch account. Or, and this is the last option, maybe they get lucky and they get gifted a sub. Okay? Maybe they get lucky and they get gifted a sub. Here's the 1 minute ad break now.
Here now from Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont. Senator Sanders, thanks for joining us again this morning. You just heard Senator Blunt right there. He said this program is unfair. It's going to hurt
Thank you, Transphobia Phobic, for the 15
economy.
Gifted subs.
Well, he's wrong. 60% of the benefits go to people who are on Pell Grants. 87% of the benefits go to people who are making $75,000 a year. Look, I know it is shocking, George, to some Republicans that the government actually, on occasion, does something to benefit working families and low-income people. I don't hear any of these Republicans squawking when we give massive tax breaks to billionaires, when we have an effective tax rate today such that the 1% have a lower effective tax rate than working people, where major corporations in a given year don't pay a nickel in federal taxes. That's okay. But suddenly when we do something for working people, it is a terrible idea. I was in Boston last week, and I was talking to nurses. And these nurses were telling me that they are working, in some cases, 2 jobs, outrageous hours, partly in order to pay for the student debts that they have accumulated. So in my view, the president did the right thing. And we have got to be really thinking about higher education in general. And in my view, at a time when hundreds of thousands of bright young people can't even afford to go to college. If we're going to be competitive in a global economy, we need to make public colleges and universities tuition free.
As you know, Senator Sanders, it's not just Republicans who have criticized this program. Several of your Democratic colleagues who are up for re-election this year have criticized it as well. Michael Bennett said President Biden should have included a plan to pay for it. Catherine Cortez Masto, she says it doesn't address the root cause of college affordability. And to your point, Tim Ryan, who's running for Senate in Ohio, said it's unfair to those with student loans, without student loans, who are struggling to make ends meet, working people.
Well, the truth is, in a sense, that criticism is correct, but the answer is not to deny help to people who cannot deal with these horrendous student debts, who are delaying getting married, delaying even having children. The answer is that maybe, just maybe, we want to have a government that works for all working people and not just the people on top. So the answer, I think, is to say, yeah, if you are a working person right now, you're worried about what happens to you when you are retiring. Well, maybe we should demand that the wealthiest people in this country start paying their fair share of taxes so we can expand Social Security, improve the benefits, and protect those workers. Maybe we should raise the minimum wage to a living wage for low-income workers. Maybe we should do what every other major country on earth does, George, and guarantee health care to all people as a human right, rather than spending twice as much per capita on health care as other countries and leaving 70 million Americans uninsured and underinsured. Maybe we should have the courage to take on the drug companies and not pay 10 times more for a particular drug than they do in other countries. So the answer is not to do what Republicans...
Never once have I heard CNN say, wow, these multi-billion-dollar companies have received a massive handout today. Let's go to the average person to talk about how unfair it is that we have to pay for it. The fuck? Of course they're not going to do that. Their entire fucking position is slanted against that kind of behavior. If anyone were to do that, they would be like, this is terrible. This is wrong. This is fucked up. They are a multi-million-dollar company. They're a multi-billion-dollar company.
That
got loans and bailouts.
It's unfair to this person because we're helping that person. The answer is maybe to create a government which works for all people and not just for wealthy campaign contributors. And by the way, George, you know, we don't talk about this enough. We got to deal with this massive income and wealth inequality. 3 people on top owning more wealth than the bottom half of American society. That's some of the issues that we got to deal with.
You can't address any of those without more Democrats in the Senate. How are you feeling about the midterms right now? We know there are a lot of headwinds for Democrats, but there have been some successes over the course of the summer.
Yeah, I think that what the Supreme Court did in saying to every woman in America, you can't control your own body. Your state government will make a decision on this most personal matter of an abortion. I think that the American people are saying, excuse me, in America, in the year 2022, women will make that decision. And I think that decision is going to reverberate very poorly for Republicans who think that women do not have a right to control their own bodies. I think the gun violence that we have seen is also going to play a role. People understand, whether you're Democrats or Republicans, that we common sense gun safety legislation. So I think there is a reasonable chance that Democrats will retain control over the Senate. I certainly hope we get more than 50 in the Senate, that we get at least 52, so we can start going forward and protecting working people in a way we have not been able to do up to now.
You heard Senator Blunt on former President Trump's legal exposure right now. Your take on the affidavit?
Well, my take is there's something a little bit absurd when it appears that we have a former president who has taken highly classified documents to his own residence. I mean, it's just incomprehensible to me. But then again, when we talk about President Trump, there's a lot of incomprehensible things.
Senator Sanders, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
We have new details now on the Mar-a-Lago search. Officials have released parts of the affidavit filed in support of the raid, revealing a number of classified documents, including top secret files held by Trump. And intelligence officials are now assessing the national security risks. Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas is tracking the case. Good morning, Pierre.
George, good morning. Today, the intelligence community is launching an urgent review to assess the potential damage of highly classified documents being stored unsecure for months at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. This morning, as we learn new details about the FBI's unprecedented search across Washington, calls intensifying for an assessment of damage to national security. Even Republicans reluctant to criticize the former president, not offering much defense.
He should have turned over all of them. I imagine he knows that very well now.
The newly released affidavit, though heavily redacted, still providing new insight. It signals that the DOJ investigation is far from over and involves a grand jury. It confirms that criminal targets have been identified and that the FBI is looking for more. This section from the affidavit leaping off the page. The FBI has not yet identified all potential criminal confederates, nor located all evidence related to its investigation. There's even worry that some of the classified documents may have been taken to locations beyond Mar-a-Lago. The newly released DOJ documents also make clear the FBI came to search Mar-a-Lago based on evidence from a significant number of civilian witnesses. Witnesses the FBI fears could face intimidation and retaliation as the probe continues. And we discovered more details about the scale and seriousness of the documents involved, some with national defense secrets and intelligence about spies and electronic eavesdropping programs. Just from boxes turned over to the National Archives last January, we learned Trump had at least 184 classified documents, with 92 labeled secret, 25 described as top secret, in excess of 700 pages. But Trump pushing back, calling it all a witch hunt. And he may get something he wants. A federal judge is suggesting she may appoint a special master to go through the seized documents as Trump has requested. Attorneys are expected in court Thursday to debate the issue. George?
Okay, Pierre, thanks very much. Just bringing our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. So, Dan, we know the law says you can't take documents, official government documents, home. So how do you assess the risk that President Trump will actually be indicted?
Well, look, nothing in the release.
No other American would ever be afforded this, by the way. Like, this is not a thing. Like, Republicans have cry-bullied their way out of the situation and have successfully gone to a point where, they can ask for special privilege for their big, wet daddy, okay? Just straight up. They're basically just saying, like, oh, there's attorney-client privilege in some of the fucking documents that you retrieve. Someone has looked through that already in the FBI and claimed that it was a fraction, but it doesn't matter.
Piece of this affidavit is helpful to the former president. Nothing that we have learned in the last week supports his case. And with all of that said, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be indicted. I still believe that it's more likely than not that he probably won't be indicted. I think I'm turning into one of the few people out there who seems to think that, because there are just simply going to be a number of factors that go into this. It's going to include the fact that he's the former president of the United States. And some people will say, well, wait a second, why would he possibly?
Should I just not fucking play the video? Can you clip it? Because it doesn't sound weird to me. Like, there's a buzzing in the background, but it's not that bad. You probably hear it on your headphones.
Possibly be treated differently than anybody else? And the answer is because when you're the president or the former president, there are specific rules and procedures that apply. There are certain things you're allowed to do that to include the fact that he's the former.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear the buzzing. I am hearing the buzzing as well. Yeah, you guys are being bitches, to be honest. Like, if you're listening with headphones, then yeah, it sucks. Sucks for you.
That other people aren't allowed to do, that change the equation. And of course, despite the fact that everyone will say, well, we're just evaluating this on the law, there's really no such thing. Yes, there are words of the statute, but there's going to be some level of prosecutorial discretion here from Attorney General Garland.
Right, and that would depend on, in part, whether or not there's any evidence that the president was participating in some kind of obstruction of justice. If they just wanted to get the documents back, that would be one thing. But if there is evidence on either surveillance photo or witnesses that the president was involved in obstruction, that could change this equation.
It could, absolutely. And that's going to be the key question, I think, is how hard did he or somebody else try to avoid having these documents turned over? And why? What exactly was happening? And I think that is going to be a critical question here. We don't know the answer to it. That was the most significant redaction in the search warrant affidavit, was all the information.
Chat is not on my end. It's about to end anyway.
Information surrounding obstruction. So we're going to have to wait and see. As Pierre reported, this is still the relatively early stages of this investigation. And most importantly, I don't think we're going to hear anything about a possible indictment until after the midterm elections. So I do think there's going to be a period here of calm as they continue to investigate this quietly and behind the scenes.
The mini fridge? No, man. Shut the fuck up. It's not the mini fridge. All right, another day, another deadly supermarket shooting.
We begin with breaking news overnight. A deadly shooting at a supermarket in Oregon. At least 2 people are dead. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman has the latest for us this morning. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Michael. That shooting happening at a supermarket in a popular Bend, Oregon shopping center. Police describing a lone gunman stalking the aisles, firing from that AR-15 style rifle. At this point, they say they're still investigating the motive and describing what they call a very large crime scene. This morning, police investigating a deadly rampage at this Oregon grocery store.
Response for an active shooter, Safeway East in Bend.
Bend police say at 7:04 p.m., a suspect carrying an AR-15 style weapon and a shotgun began firing in the parking lot outside the Safeway.
There were 10 to 20 shots, and then another 10 to 20 shots, and by that time I went inside and told my dad to get away from the window, and people were running at.
Once inside, investigators say he moved through the store, shooting and killing another person.
The shooter entered the west entrance of Safeway. When that person entered the west entrance, they engaged one person there and shot that person.
When police arrived, they found the man they believed to be the shooter dead inside. This morning, they're not commenting on a motive, instead pointing to a long investigation ahead.
Very large crime scene. It starts in the residential area behind the Forum Shopping Center and then moves to the shopping center and includes that entire parking lot.
The names of the 2 people killed have not been released, nor has the name of the suspected shooter. Now, there was an additional person who was shot, transferred to the hospital. They're being listed as in good condition, expected to survive, George.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Okay, Matt, thanks very much.
Yeah, that's out on body cam, police dealing with the entitled citizen. Oh yeah, we're speaking of we did this earlier, but speaking of the fucking swatting and stuff happening, we still have no idea where the Proud Boys founder Gavin McInnes is. It's been 4 days since law enforcement, or what they believe is law enforcement, confronted him off camera while he was live streaming. Friends insist he's detained but won't snitch. No record of detainment. Next show on his network is hosted by Jacob Wall, so no new real news imminent. So, yeah, we don't know about what's going on. Ben Collins had a take on Trumpism. I think it's time we start covering Trumpism for what it is now. It's no longer a political movement. It's a violent fairy tale of revenge on political enemies. Feds could have found a body in those Mar-a-Lago boxes and followers wouldn't care about retribution, not facts. I mean, it's true. Let's take a look at what they're saying.
They're looking for weaponizable data points. They're looking for people they can target. They're looking for people they can dox and harass. They're not looking for an end game here. They could have found a body in these boxes, and that wouldn't have been enough for them. They would have been like, oh, that's somebody else's body. Like, it's not, Donald Trump had nothing to do with that body. There is no end game here for them. The end game is to keep stalling, keep delaying, keep pushing this forward, keep making it look like some sort of political persecution. And then, there is no possible way this ends for them other than political persecution.
So the interest that you're seeing in some of these far-right corners of the internet is not to defend Trump, and it's not necessarily to get more information or seek the truth. It's actually almost retribution.
Yeah.
So funny. Like, come on. You've covered this for so many years, MSNBC. Like, how are you still shocked at this? Like, how? Wow. Incredibly surprising that, you know, the vitriolic, angry right-wing guys are being vitriolic and angry and right-wing. They don't want true retribution. They don't want truth to prevail. What? Color me surprised. Incredibly surprising information here, folks.
Yeah, it's just retribution. That's what Trumpism is now. It's retribution and revanchism on political enemies in what they view to be, you know, some sort of culture war norms. They want the world to return to, you know, the pre-90s world in general, but they also just, they want to get revenge on the people who changed the world to make it so they had less power in their view, in their eyes. That's what they thought they were getting with Trumpism 1.0. They didn't think he was serious enough about this culture war. Now they think that he's going to actually exact that revenge if he gets back into office.
I remember when the details of the search warrant were first released in that property receipt, and you had actually pointed out a conversation online in which someone said it doesn't matter if state secrets were delivered to Saudi Arabia on a silver platter along with a cheeseburger. Why does that not matter?
Because that's not what it's about. He's always being done wrong. It's persecution to them. It's not about facts or information. It's about buffeting the narrative that this guy stands in for all of them who have been persecuted by the left. So if they can find more ways to make that the truth, they will do it. But they need enemies. They need characters. That's why the affidavit didn't land today. There was no new person in there. They can be like, that's the bad guy now. So now they need to move. That's why tapes would help a lot. They get to identify people. They get to search for these specific FBI agents who did the search. They get to search for the snitch or the narc that they thought was somewhere in that in the Trump cavalry. So that's why it didn't land today. They were looking for somebody else to blame. They were looking.
Pro-Trump forums now exist to disseminate weaponizable data on new perceived villains to harass and threaten. 1 week is FBI agents, then IRS agents, then teachers or doctors. This won't stop, even if Trump is indicted. But it deserves to be reported on as the pattern it is. That is true. There is a pattern there. Their main goal is to prop up enemies and turn around, and I mean it's literally Kiwi Farms, 4chan, but more applicable to boomers. Like boomers getting access to like these sorts of forums was one of the worst things that could have happened to American democracy. Not that it was really ever a thing. But that's where it is. Now, there is a little bit of infighting happening in the Trump camp. A little bit of tea, if you will. And I do love this. Trump family dunks on DeSantis. You're stealing our bit. Donald Trump says the Florida governor is mirroring the former president right down to the hand gestures. There's a little bit of truth to this. Let's take a look at this. Is Ron DeSantis copying Donald Trump?
Anybody here would do it.
Project to get
Judges are a priority.
And honestly, we have businesses that have been locked down and lives destroyed for over a year based on say
many ballots,
no
and they put them
COVID
all
vaccine
together, and then they
passports
just dump them.
made in China and shipped here.
Russia and
Why
other
would we
places.
want
What do
so
you
many important things?
Can we take them?
To us be at the whim of China?
Okay, maybe this.
To us be at the whim of China.
Okay, this is just him. He's just signing. That is fine, but he didn't steal writing from Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Anyway, the eerie similarities are not just in MAGA ideology, but Trumpian body language. And this actually ties into another Ben thread that I will focus on here. I think Ron DeSantis needs to be studied and maybe even not just studied, but definitely openly ridiculed. Oh, this wasn't from, it was from Judd Legume, sorry, who talked about the Ron DeSantis playbook, okay? About how Ron DeSantis loves getting in the media. Another carbon copy of Donald Trump, by the way. The Chapo boys did a good job of talking about this as well. Here's how Ron DeSantis repeatedly manipulates the media. First, he makes a splashy announcement with a simple but misleading narrative. Last week, for example, he announced that 20 people were arrested for voter fraud. If you recall, I talked about this last week when it happened. Ron DeSantis, who won his gubernatorial race against Gillum, who then, of course, was his political career was destroyed after that. But Ron DeSantis, who defeated Andrew Gillum by like an incredibly tiny margin, that immediately turned around and in that same ballot destroyed one of the ballot provisions that Floridians voted for by much wider margins that actually would offer the restoration of rights to felons, would give felons the right to vote in the state of Florida. Ron DeSantis used all of his power in the Republican state legislature to immediately apply a poll tax to said felons who now had actually gotten their right restored, their right to vote restored. And it was ridiculous, and yet there's kind of nothing you can do about it. Okay, so he now is weaponizing that against some people who didn't know they couldn't fucking vote. Here it is. He threw out this Governor DeSantis announces the arrest of 20 election criminals. Then DeSantis uses the simple announcement to generate headlines that benefit him politically. In this case, DeSantis is trying to appeal to the Republican voters who believe that Biden stole the 2020 election from Trump. DeSantis' announcement of these arrests, a campaign-style event held in a Florida courthouse, successfully generated that would appeal to Republican voters looking for validation of Trump's false claims about election fraud. Florida bus 20 ex-cons accused of voter fraud. DeSantis says Governor Ron DeSantis announces 20 violating election laws will be arrested. And CBS News and every other one of these fucking dumbass outlets covers it as though it's like a legitimate thing. And not a basically racist criminal action and a complete fucking overreach by a psychotic governor who actually is so desperately trying to be relevant in mainstream news because of his own personal desires of running against Donald Trump or being seen as the main guy who could replace Donald Trump within the Republican infrastructure. Okay? DeSantis' announcement had lots of political theatrics. Republican activists sat in the jury box waving signs saying my vote counts, but there were few specifics offered on individual cases. A review of the court records of the 20 people charged reveals why. This isn't a bunch of people seeking to manipulate an election by voting illegally. Many of the people charged were told by Florida officials that they were eligible to vote. Peter Washington, for example, is a 59-year-old man who was convicted of attempted sexual battery in 1996. During his assimilation class in prison, he was told by a probation officer that his civil rights would be automatically restored upon his release from prison, because that's what Florida, that's what the much more popular ballot measure in Florida was. Okay? He did his time in prison. He got out of prison. He should be able to vote now, and people have told him he's able to vote now. Subsequently, Washington received a voter registration form in the mail, filled it out, and was provided with a voter card from Orange County, Florida. So at no step of the way did people turn around and say, hey, you can't vote because you're a felon. Washington also reported he received jury summons on 3 separate occasions, which he reported for. In Florida, jury service is unavailable to ex-felons until their civil rights are restored. So he thought, well, I'm going to fucking jury duty. I'm getting my voter ballot sent to me. Why the fuck shouldn't I be able to vote? Of course he's going to think he can vote. Washington and the other 19 individuals were charged with one count of false affirmation, voting, or elections. But that charge requires prosecutors to prove that the accused acted willfully, which means not a single one of those people is most likely going to actually end up in jail. But one, they're now tied up in a court proceeding against a person who is weaponizing the entire might of, the state of Florida against them. Okay? Two, even if they don't actually go to prison at all, Ron DeSantis already got his fucking media cycle. He got the PR boost he needed to, maintain his prominence in Republican circles. He already got the headline. In this case, Washington genuinely believed he was eligible to vote because he was told by a parole officer, received a voter registration form in the mail, and was summoned for jury service. The final step of the Ron DeSantis Florida media manipulation playbook is counting on the media and the public to lose interest as the truth slowly trickles out. Ultimately, whether these charges could be proved at trial may not matter. Most of the individuals targeted by DeSantis have little education and few financial resources, and they're being threatened with the full resources of the state of Florida. One individual, this part is really fucked up. One individual charged with voter fraud was reportedly arrested at 6 a.m. when a SWAT team banged on his door. A helicopter circled overhead and armed officers were posted in his backyard. He was not permitted to put on clothes and was taken to jail in his underwear. He's a clone. Fuck that rapo. Fuck that rapo. God, I hope he rots. Are we sympathizing with this rapist? First of all, it's attempted sexual battery, okay? And it happened in 1996. If you have done a fucking violent crime such as that, or attempted to do a violent crime such as that, okay, and you go to prison, you should still be allowed to be a human being once you're out of prison, okay? Shut the fuck up. You absolute psychopathic weirdo. Not arrested at gunpoint for fucking supposedly doing voter fraud. Most of these defendants have already spent much of their lives tied up in the criminal justice system. In response to the charges of voter fraud, they had to come up with hundreds of thousands of dollars to post bail because now they're considered a security risk too because they already have priors. The pressure to plead guilty and resolve the situation quickly, especially in exchange for a favorable sentence, will be enormous. DeSantis used the exact same playbook when he falsely claimed that the math textbook publishers were targeting elementary school students. He generated the headlines he wanted, and by the time the truth came out, most of the media had moved on. Remember that. He does this with everything. Call them Hasan. I hate how people are treated in prison, let alone how inhumanely they're treated once they get out. People refuse to let anyone be a human again. Yeah, it's fucked up. I swear the same thing is happening to me, except not arrest. I had a felony in 04, have been sent voter registration for years, have voted for years. I just sent my jury summons in on Friday, literally. Okay, well, I hope you don't go to jail. And anyway, Donald Trump is also making fun of, the Trump family is also, like I said, making fun of Ron DeSantis. Trump and DeSantis have sniped at others in public, each without specifically naming the other. DeSantis criticized the Trump administration for measures aimed at locking down the country at the dawn of the COVID-19 pandemic, while appearing on the conservative Ruthless podcast earlier this year. Drama. DeSantis' clout has grown among Republican voters because of the actions that he's taken, like I just mentioned to you. Trump has privately voiced anger over DeSantis' supposed lack of gratitude and refusal to rule out challenging the former president in 2024. For his part, the ex-president had gone on the incredibly pro-Trump TV channel OAN to strongly suggest that DeSantis was gutless. Both Trump and DeSantis have tried to publicly downplay the budding feud as supposed invention of the news media. In the time since Trump, behind closed doors, trashing DeSantis as charisma-free, has even toyed with launching a 2024 presidential campaign near the governor's mansion in Florida, which would double as an obvious effort to troll DeSantis. But just as DeSantis was enjoying some of the gains in polls for potential 2024 Republican contenders, Trump's Florida estate Mar-a-Lago was raided by the FBI. Oh, DeSantis also did the same thing with a Disney story, too. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and state agencies filed to dismiss lawsuit challenging Reedy Creek Improvement District dissolution, quietly going back on the things that they had done before. And, of course, that raid led to a bump. Okay, where is the actual, culture war very soon after? We saw those specific topics incorporated into the Florida governor's talking points. This has happened enough times that Trump's eldest son has come to believe, according to a person familiar with the matter, that DeSantis and his staff likely look to his Twitter account for inspiration and rate it for their latest policy ideas or red meat hurling rhetoric. Honestly, at the end of the day, here's the reality, okay? Here's the fucking reality. At the end of the day, this just implies that you are the second best, okay? You want to be Cardi, but you're not. You feel me? You want to be Cardi. You desperately want to be Cardi, but you're not. You're not Playboy Cardi, okay? You're just a shitty second best. It shows me that he doesn't have the capacity to read the room and like figure out new culture war grievances on his own too. A thing that Donald Trump is very good at. Anyway, so there's that. Okay, we're gonna move on. Before we watch the decay of Andrew Tate, I do want to get to Aaron Rodgers talking about being immunized.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Polyethylene glycol is the main ingredient of paintball paint. He had no problem getting splattered, but can't take a vaccine. No, brother, you don't understand. He dodged them. He dodged them paintballs. See? Not touching them. He never got hit. He got vaxxed against the paintball. I mean, the thing that he's saying he has an allergy to is like a pretty prominent ingredient in like pretty much everything. If he was actually allergic to it, the NFL would have allowed his medical exception. He's just a dumbass. Hey, by the way, even if they allowed his medical exception, okay, or exemption, he would still probably have to quarantine additionally and have like an additional level of scrutiny over his actions. Why? Because that's how it fucking works. He's been microdosing paint chips. Oh, that's awesome. Wait, that's how he got fucking immunized, dude. He ate the paint chips? Is that how it works? Also, shit camp is back, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Big announcement. Big announcement. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. Shit camp is back.
Almost shit camp. Where's my juicer? Bring your Twitch Prime. We could use another sponsor. Farming drama in a clip or two. Himbo's been canceled. Beats going to YouTube. Shit camp. It's time to chat. Leave a tab. Open all day long. React streamers in the wild. It's time to chat. Shit camp. Let's do it again. Shit camp. It's time to chat.
Last shit camp, I was in a terrible mood.
Open all day long. React streamers.
Because my back was fucked up.
In the wild. It's time to chat. Shit camp.
Yeah. I was unable to participate in a lot of the events, and I fucking hated it. Like, I hated that I wasn't able to participate in a lot of the events. And I am hopefully not going to do that this time. You know what I mean?
Are we good? Ben told us he would tell me. Okay.
Yeah, we got a fire crew. Reimbursement Saga Part 2. Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait for some other random dumb reason for why, like, while we do a fuckload of great content, some random dumb thing that I say, like an offhanded comment, will turn into the top story of shit camp like last week. Didn't feel like inviting Bruce personally. I see Pago. The W community is putting y'all on watch. I'm just a messenger. Wait, what? What do you mean? That'd be fucking sick. Are you physically able to be away from chat for that long? No, I already talked to Cutie. I'm gonna have like a sit down setup there.
Thanks.
I have a sit down setup to still continue doing like at least a couple hours a day of like regular news coverage, as well as like all the shit camp festivities that I will be around and be part of. So yeah. Last one joke was you own the Porsche in the driveway, right? Oh, how life imitates art. Yeah. Wait, let's see what this is. What is this? What? This is nothing. Why'd you send this to me? He said, hello, friends. He looks so friendly. Hear me out, okay? He's actually so cute when his mouth is shut. Why does he seem nice here? How do y'all survive being fooled this easily? Y'all get it together in this comment section right now. He seems so friendly in this. Dude, we're a generation. We're a generation that is so infinitely brain broken, dude. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. They're just fucking kids. They for gore. It's fucking whatever, dude. Who cares? Okay, let's see this this guy who's a farmer and his take on student loan debt relief.
Debt relief. Man, if you've been on Facebook, it is a dumpster fire of narcissistic boomers bitching about how these kids are getting $10,000 off their student loans. Because if it doesn't benefit them, and they had to get through it, heaven forbid somebody else catch a break. It makes you wonder how many of those people took a PPP loan. These farmers and ranchers bitching about the student debt relief. How many farm subsidies they take? How much debt? Fire! Spitting hot fire. Farmers against, well, not against subsidies, but farmers calling out other farmers on subsidies. I love that. Disaster relief do they take? Love that. But these kids who, yeah, signed up for the loans, went to college, but they're in a rigged system. And if it's going to help our economy a little bit, relieve some of the debt on that generation, then okay, yeah, sure. My problem with it is that it's just merely a Band-Aid. In 4 years, all this affects is just this current generation that already has student debt. In 4 years, our nation's student debt's going to be exactly the same. So we need major higher ed reform, and this really doesn't help. But all these narcissistic people that just can't stand to see anybody else catch a break. It's just ridiculous. Oh, and we just sent another $3 billion to Ukraine, and no one cares about that. Crazy. King. Absolute bloody legend, okay? We love a legend. You know who's not a legend? This guy. After receiving backlash for visiting a McDonald's and potentially infecting others, the up-and-coming artist admitted to faking monkeypox as a marketing scheme to promote his music. Is he a genius or a clout chaser? I love that No Jumper's trying to do that rap TV shit.
It's good.
Y'all fuck with this or not? I love that. I love the rap TV. Are we all fucking with this?
Y'all, just to let y'all know, the person who took my payment was absolutely fine. And yeah, this was just a promo gone wrong. I would have revealed this sooner, but I was just taking input left and right and didn't know what the hell to do. Just to give y'all a quick brief of what this was all about, I have unique and unconventional marketing methods when it comes to promoting my music.
Sorry, I'd be a little too bold sometimes. Yeah, no, it's cool, man.
And I usually try to tie the marketing around the premise of the song. This time the song was called Choose Yourself, so I was trying to market it in a way where it displays a person choosing himself regardless of how other people feel about it. Unfortunately, it didn't translate that way, and people just end up getting mad at me. My followers didn't get upset because they...
Wait, choose yourself? Wait, hold up. Like, choose yourself, and his choice was that, like, I choose to go to the McDonald's drive-thru with monkeypox? Like, how does that tie in? How does that tie into choosing for yourself, dude? What the fuck? He chose clout. Dude, clout is literally the disease here, okay? Not monkeypox.
Just end up getting mad at me. My followers didn't get upset because they understand my marketing schemes, but unfortunately the video went viral.
My followers didn't get mad because they understand my marketing schemes. I love that! Yes!
Viral, and it attracted people who didn't understand. For example, this is another time where I promoted my song with parking tickets and it went viral. People started off upset, but eventually...
Wait, what? That's like literally in an entirely separate playing field. What? Yo, how about you make good music, bro? What the fuck? Don't get mad. I called in a bomb threat. It was a hashtag ad. Oh, that's awesome. No, it's all right. My fans expect shady and manipulative marketing practices from me. It's just that you guys didn't realize it.
Eventually grew a liking. I thought that would happen this time, but unfortunately not. There's more to the story. Follow for more. What's good, y'all?
Oh, he did a part two for more too. He like, wait, where's the part 2? Not gonna lie, that's smart. A little unethical, but smart. Dude, I don't know what to say, man. I think we're just so brain broken at this point. Okay. Elon Musk and Neuralink executive Siobhan Zillis conceived twins through IVF. That's great. Former sex worker was turned away from Twitch Rivals tournament because of her past work as a porn star. Yeah, I saw that. Fucked up. But it wasn't even Twitch. Twitch wasn't the reason why she was turned away. From what I understand, Fortnite was literally like, no, we don't want her. Also, I don't even know if is Adriana Chechik a former sex worker? Like, I just don't understand. Even if she is a current sex worker, who gives a fuck? She's not doing sex work while she's playing fucking Fortnite. Calm down. No, I think she still does sex work, but like, who cares? That was a lie. Fortnite told her to remove the sex stuff in the background, and she said, nah, lol. It was epic, but they apologized. Still a dick move. Ex-Fortnite players shouldn't be allowed to do porn. Fortnite put out a statement. They asked Twitch to work with her to remove adult references from her profile due to the game's rating. Wait, what do you mean adult references? Like her name? They replied to her. Fortnite said they didn't want the adult awards in her background, but Twitch read that as, we don't want someone with her background. Oh. Pocket watching her royalties, probably. The Fortnite universe is so vast, and they don't take our queen Adriana. I mean, what Adriana Chechik does is like beyond sex work. Like, she is like an Olympic level penis taker and other things, okay? Which in and of itself is very respectable. Like, even beyond sex work, okay? It's the truth. Like, it's literally, it's too much for me, okay? As a porn watcher / consumer, it's even too much for me sometimes. I'm like, God damn. She is the Michael Jordan of penis taking, 100%. So, to be fair, that's why she had awards, right? Oh, Jesus Christ. Have you seen the new 100 Thieves drama? Nate Shot is popping off my stream. Looks like he's about to blow a gasket. What happened? No, I have not seen it. Dude, she once shoved her own fleshlight in her ass and got fucked in it. Absolutely insane. Like, that's the kind of bold thinking that I'm talking about. She literally doesn't just do regular porn. You know what I mean? She's just doing crazy shit. You got to respect it. I do. I know I do. Bro, she had her asshole literally drilled by a dildo. A dildo? She took like 6 long ones in her ass at once. What? Anyway. I meant to say she sucked off a fan in the middle of a music festival. That is the most respectable thing I've ever heard. What? That's crazy. See, she gives back to the community. Like, what do you want? I respect her so much. Anyway. So, no, it isn't, bro. Come on. Wait, what? Why? What's wrong with you, you fucking weirdo? Yeah, ESPN should be doing a 30 for 30 on her, dude. Le balls deep. I don't believe you. I'm about to do my own research. I mean, as soon as I started talking about Adriana Chechik, like 2,000 motherfuckers left. So I think people are doing that. People are already doing that. People are like, wait, hold on. I got to see this. I got to see what's popping here. What's happening here? Insane Jubilee from last week. Should I come out to my wife? What? No. Anyway. All right. Maybe we'll look at that. But I want to see this fucking spoof of my 28-year-old life in Chicago, Illinois.
This is my weekend as a 28-year-old living in.
And then we're gonna watch the Jawbry, friend of the show, Jawbry. Friend of the show, Jawbry did an Andrew Tate video.
Chicago. Started my day off with the guru and making my bed. It was mental awareness day at my company, so I got brunch with my friend Lizzie and had a few drinks. Then I met up with Devlin and we kayaked to the Chicago River. It was actually pretty dope. Priscilla had never been to the Field Museum, so we had to check it out. Then we headed to El Paraiso for some drinks and vibes. The tacos were scrumptious. We also got a margarita tower, so yeah. After that,
I can't tell if this is like a parody or just real.
I had to take my 4Runner to the shop to get a new transmission. Then I came home and just chilled a little before going to see Bill Maher at the Chicago Theater. He absolutely...
Wait. Hey, look at that, Curtis Connor.
Bill Maher at the Chicago Theater. He absolutely crushed. After the show, I met up with Lindsay Jacobellis and her sister Malmo for tequila shots and yet another Marg Tower. It was so much fun. Then we went to Rind for their stuffed pineapple, which was absolutely to die for. And their snow crab was pretty good too. Beers at Brow Brow in Tomlin Square with Jake Ben and Jordan. My friends are the craziest. More drinks, then we went to Rosemary for small bites, and somehow we ended up going to Medieval Times. I don't know, the rest of the night was kind of a blur. Woke up Saturday and took lunch for a waltz.
Bro, I'm not kidding. I know this is a joke because he's eating so much and drinking so much, and that's the joke. But like, you literally, I know this is a parody, but it's kind of not. You know what I mean? Like, this is actually literally the exact same. Your parody can't be so similar to the real experience of all these like little trust fund kids who work for like LinkedIn or whatever, and then I guess have their entire day mapped out by eating and drinking at every fucking bar in Brooklyn. I just got here and had no idea this was a parody. Like I know he's doing a parody, but it's too good as a parody.
We found cicada skin and I tried to get him to eat it, but he didn't. Another guru, then a much needed pork chop from the Golden Nugget. Rosie invited me to go to the Museum of Ice Cream, which was actually pretty dope. She's so precious. Then we got hungry, so I made pesto aioli to put on some Italian ogies. After a couple rounds of Zathura, we went to the world's largest Starbucks, then met up with Kedzie and Marvin at the Museum of Ice Cream, which was actually pretty dope. Got a Marg Tower, then I had a dessert date with Kara at the Museum of Ice Cream, and then we got hungry, so we grabbed a bite at Wendell's. Me and Jira had reservations at Heidsieck for their Alpana, and then got Londo at Tanta, which I highly recommend. It was pretty wiped, so then I just chilled for a few. Met up with my girlfriend Darla at Legoland, then caught a rooftop movie with her friend KP, and stopped at Target on the way to Bobo for drinks. Then stopped at Target before going to Cafe Menu on the East Loop for Georgina's 45th. I got the number 6, which includes pizza, salad, stir fry, and pasta, which I highly recommend. Tyler had an acoustic set at the Plunge Hole, so I stopped by that, and then went to Ben's performance at a dope garage in Roscoe Village. Then it was time for dinner at D'Angelo's, where you have to get the cheeseburger egg rolls and hummus and tacos. I got us a pair of Mark Towers at Itola 1-1 in Lincoln Park, and then I had a beautiful drive home. I spent the night teaching guitar online, and then watched Trumbo for like the billionth time. Woke up on Sunday and hit TJ's in Pilsen with Allison Peckler. My wife and husband thought it'd be a good day for a hike, so we did that. After that, I ranked every girl I know on a scale of 1 to 10 and wrote apology letters to the sub-4s. Yet another Mark Tower. Went on a hike with Aaron, then Friendsgiving at Lena's condo, and we played some VR and made hot dogs and saw a comedy show and made some of my famous aioli.
And I guess that was my weekend.
This is my...
My wife and husband. This is motherfucker Dio. How much time does he have? That's the joke. All these fucking dudes that look exactly like this, that live in houses that look exactly like this with like vintage furniture, that are like trust fund kids that they do a day in the life, and it's just the most slammed shit. And it fucking like when I watch them, it breaks my brain harder than like watching a bunch of fucking hogs talk about how they want to murder FBI agents or something. Okay? Cause like straight up, it fucking it like this is a parody. This is a parody of like a very real video, and up until like this point, it's just a real video. He drank like 11 Marg Towers. But it's like it's not even like the constant drinking or whatever. It's more so the fact that like they go to a million restaurants. Like, why are there so many restaurants? I'd be so overwhelmed. I knew it was fake when he said he went to a stand-up show of Bill Maher. There's too many restaurants. You got to stop. You got to stop having this many restaurants. You know you live in LA, right? Bro, if I did a day in the life of my existence in Los Angeles, it would be a 15-second video. I woke up, I lifted weights, I took a shower, and then I streamed for 8 hours and screamed at dumb chatters like you. That's it. That's my day in the life. 7 days a fucking week. Bitch, you're like, oh, what's your day in the life? You live in LA. Shut the fuck up. It's like, bro, you know what my day in the life is. You see it. I do a day in the life video for 8 fucking hours every day. 7 fucking days a week. Okay, 6. Oh, wow. I took the past 2 Sundays off. So I guess now officially 6 days a week. Sorry, guys. You fucking weirdos. Doesn't your stream start of a version of this every stream? Yeah, where I describe to you what movie I watched the night before. Anyway, Joe Rogan had some really good thoughts, I guess, once again.
Those people that were forced to close their businesses and keep their doors shuttered and lost everything that they'd worked for decades to build, no, they're just going to be angry.
So what do you tell those people?
Vote Republican.
Ben Pie FGC, thank you for the 5. Get the subs.
That's what a lot of them are going to do anyway.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're small business owners. Of course they were fucking voting Republican. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I mean, more than 1 million people transferred over to the Republican Party, I think, in 2021 alone. Find out what that number is.
Yeah. Good take from Joe. Okay, here's T1J. Why aren't there more black socialists?
America, or DSA, is the largest socialist organization in the United States, with almost 100,000 members, the vast majority of whom joined in the last 7 years. Socialists continue to fight an uphill battle for...
I know a lot of you said, like, this is a FN signifier. It's not. You guys self-reported. This is T1J, who, by the way, is, if I'm not mistaken, not a socialist anyway. He's, oh, come on, stop. People, nice bathroom. People don't know that you're black, okay? When you make jokes like this, oh, God, I can't wait for you to get clipped out by some fucking random, like, orbiter weirdo that's like, Hasan's white-ass fucking mods, like, don't know that this is a different black man. You know what I mean? And then they're going to fucking dox you and shit, and then they're going to find out that you're black. But, you know,
relevance in America, but there's no doubt they've been having a moment for the past few years, almost certainly sparked by the sudden popularity of Senator Bernie Sanders, who I'll talk about later. The vast majority of DSA members, however, are straight, cis, white male millennials. It is decidedly white up in there. Now, not every American socialist is a member of DSA, but many people have made the argument that these lefties have a bit of a diversity problem. For some masochistic reason, I've decided to talk about that today. That's what this video is about. This video is sponsored by the Curiosity Stream and Nebula bundle. Nebula is a streaming video platform that is owned by the people who create content for it, so you know it's good. Hey look, it's me. I like to say that Nebula is kind of like YouTube, except with all the bad videos.
Listen, I'm gonna watch this ad thoroughly. You know why? Because if I end up criticizing his takes, at least the least I could have done is like shown the video, watch the ad. I'm being careful. My own moderation team is promoting this video so that I get fucking canceled, okay? Because they love it. Everybody in this community is a little freak, okay?
Filtered out, leaving only the most interesting and informative videos from your favorite content creators, without all the annoying stuff like pre-roll ads or algorithms preventing your favorite creators' videos from showing up in your feed.
You be discussing the FTP and DSA LA drama? No, and I hope he doesn't either. I don't want to. Oh God. Oh fuck. I don't. There is genuinely. I think the same exact problems with you know, black communities being underserved exists and happens within every avenue, every facet of American existence, including the DSA as well.
Feeds. There's all genuinely awesome original content on Nebula that you won't find on YouTube or anywhere. Curiosity, thought-provoking shopping would cause a essays and short films. If you use the deal, to less than. Click the link in the description to check it out. Hi, I'm T1J.
Follow me.
Growing up, my family mostly lived in urban, lower income, all black neighborhoods, also known as the hood. When I was a little kid, I just enjoyed life and played with my G.I. Joes or my NES, but over time, I realized that those video games I love so much weren't pulled from thin air by my parents. They cost money. And although my parents worked very hard to give me and my siblings as comfortable a life as possible, I became acutely aware of the fact that my family didn't have all that much money compared to some other folks. And I wanted to